All right. Welcome to Goof On, everybody. It is May 19th. Very important day today. I'm Rich Giordano. It is hump day, middle of the week. I know you guys have been working hard all week. It's almost done. You only got about another 48 hours to go before you could have a really good weekend. Now, I want to make this night very good for you. And with all that's happened in the last couple of hours, I don't see how I can mess this one up. So joining me is Michael Roser from Dark Hour Paranormal again. What's up, Michael?
Hey, what's going on, Rich? Long time no see, my friend.
I know. It's been a good 4 or 5 days, dude. I can't handle with getting the DHP fix, man. Good of you to come on this late.
Well, you know what? I mean, this is a really significant topic that we're touching on. I mean, the whole world's watching at this point. And again, it comes back to the people that are representing us and what the narrative is in general. We have to talk about this.
Hello?
What happened? You hear me?
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. I heard that too. Yeah.
You did? You heard that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm not going crazy. Okay.
Nope.
So I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. That's weird. Yeah, the whole world watching. You were saying
the whole world, the whole world is watching now, and we need to be looking at the people who are definitively representing us in the world of ufology, and of course, look at the different angles and narratives that are being presented. We have to talk about this.
Yeah, and Third Phase of Moon is going to be calling in a little bit as well, because they just dropped that Dr. Greer. I guess he did a special on Dr. Greer, on YouTube, and it is amazing what he was saying, man. I couldn't believe it. And he wants everybody to post that. Dr. Greer's like, let your friends talk about it, put it out there. We want people to hear the truth. Dr. Greer went off, man. Wow. I've never been more impressed. What did you think when you saw that?
Everything that you just described, and even perhaps more. I mean, I was blown away, jaw to the floor, not necessarily just because of the content he was talking about, but the brazen personality that he has in presenting this. We talk about implications all the time. He's pointing fingers and he's calling people out. It's like he's had enough, but that sort of mirrors what we feel, I think, at large, in way of this truth and the people, again, that are representing us. It's time to, fix that once and for all before we get too deep that it's irreparable.
I wonder if, they've been talking about this threat for a long minute, and it's getting a lot of play out there now in 60 Minutes and everywhere. Everybody's talking about. I'm getting people messaging me I never thought existed. Did you see this? Did you hear that? Do you believe this? What is this about? And everybody's, I only know what you know. It's really odd. I like being in it, like we are, because we're here every day talking about it. But to be on the outside, because I just spoke with my cousin, and I said, you're on the outside. I wish I was on the outside listening to this, because it would be a lot more fun. I'm sitting there getting mad watching Tucker and listening to Greer. I'm like, yeah. So, wow, I can't believe what he was talking about, Lou Elizondo. We're going to play the clips on about Greer, and then in a little bit, not yet Third Phase of Moon, but in a little bit, I'm going to have them call in I'm going to open up the phone lines to the audience in case they want to call in when we're done. I know Panda said he wanted to chime in, so I'm going to drop a link in the chat. If you want to join me and Michael, you're more than welcome to join that way. I am not opening up the phone lines for anybody else but Greer. Greer, Greer, if you're watching, you can call in too, buddy.
Sure.
For third phase. And here, let me grab the invite in case anybody wants to join us. And when you do join, just keep it topical. We're not going to talk about C-19, no swearing, and let's just let the emotions go through your veins, out your voice, out your mouth, I should say, out your voice. I shouldn't even be talking. Why am I even here? Why would anybody be here is beyond me. You guys are crazy for me. Hey, you know what? I got my new mouse, right? But I found my old one the same day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was,
that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes. I lost some cables during the move. I thought, and I lost the mouse. And then I saw a cooler that I go, oh my God, it's in the cooler. Even before I opened it up, I knew they were in the cooler. But now I have two mouse. It's two mice or mouses?
Mice, I believe. Or
mice is plural. I have two mice. This is wild stuff. I put the link in the chat room if you want to go through and be on the show. Now, you don't have to be on camera, so you don't have to allow that, but you have to be on mic. So at least allow the microphone if you don't want your face up there so we can hear what you have to say. I'm not doing roll call. I see you all. Same thing I said last night. Hey, you doing? So let's get on with the show. Michael, I'm so grateful you were able to do this because I didn't want to go at this alone again.
Not a problem, my friend. I'm more than happy to join you. I mean, this is something that involves all of us, and you want to talk about cutting edge here. We're right on the very threshold of this information coming out. The only way we'd be closer is if we were in the studio sitting with Tucker Carlson. So,
right. Hey, who's this? Who joined us? This Panda?
No, this is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. Well, I didn't know if you used a different name. What's up, Emmanuel? How you doing?
How you guys doing?
What's up, brother?
And Disclosure TV's coming on in. What's up, Disclosure TV News? How are you?
What's up? Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Somebody has their radio on in the background. Make sure you turn off all of those listening devices so we don't hear the echo. Thank you very much for joining Goof On. This is going to be incredible. This is going to be incredible. Before I play this Tucker clip, which nobody has yet except for me, because it's not on YouTube yet, I'm going to play it because I have YouTube TV. So I want to hear Emmanuel first, since you called in. Did you watch the Greer thing just a minute ago?
I did. I think I watched it live too earlier today.
Yeah. Okay, because he did put it on his own channel, right? What do you think about what he said? Do you believe him? Who do we believe is the question.
Believe your own intuition, first of all.
So you're saying do your own research?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that he has so many intense contacts. And I think that's kind of where my head is a little bit spinning. Like, when do these contacts that he speaks of, where are we going to actually be able to verify that? I mean, I appreciate everything he says and really cherish his heart, but just all the information is just, it's mind-boggling.
I'll answer your question with a question. How do we verify everything Luis Elizondo's saying and Corbell's showing? You can't. That's this business we're in. That's why I hate it and love it. So we also have Disclosure TV News here. What do you think? You saw that Greer interview, or not interview, his speech there?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I didn't even know it was out. I was looking at some Lou Elizondo stuff all day, so I haven't got to watch it yet.
Yeah. So what do you think of what Lou's saying about this threat? He's been saying it for a while. Nothing has changed. But now we got Mellon saying it very strongly. Fraver's now chiming in regularly. Now we have Alex Dietrich, who was the other pilot. who saw this. Well, let's go with her. What did you think about her on 60 Minutes?
I thought it was weird that she just suddenly popped up, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't think it was weird. I thought it
You
was
didn't think
actually
so?
smart. Yeah, I thought it was good that she popped up.
In the 60 Minutes interview, she said she was, I guess more or less, I think she said more or less she was afraid to come out, pretty much.
She was.
She was more afraid to come out than anything.
She was afraid of the ridicule.
Yeah, correct.
And,
and which threat are you talking about? I know of a couple.
Oh, well, I'm talking about the alien threat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the main one. Yeah.
Which one? What are the other ones?
The other one was I can't remember what the other one was, but I heard of at least two.
Okay. Well, if whenever it comes around, just say it. Hey, I remembered what the other threat was.
It's a possibility, it's a possibility that I think Greer has provided a lot of evidence showing that, that the government might be using UFOs to probably do an FF. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. False flag alien invasion. Yeah. We can say it. I don't care. Just say it. Spit it out. Let it say. Just don't say the C-19 one. That's all.
Yeah, I've been on YouTube a while, so I have.
Yeah, you have
my synonyms.
I kind of picked up on that. Yeah, you have Disclosure TV News, right?
I do.
How long you been doing that?
Since 2018, actually.
Oh, wow.
Since 2018. I've got about 100 videos on there, probably well over 100.
Well, congratulations on that. And I appreciate you chiming in here. So, guys, what I want to do, and if you can, try to keep the background noise down, I'm going to play this Tucker Carlson in about 3 or 4 pieces. I don't know. We'll just listen in. The reason I'm just going to play it because I want you to hear what Tucker has to say more than Lou, but it's interesting anyway. So here we go. This is on YouTube TV, Tucker Carlson. Giddy up.
Well, he's waited a while to tell us.
And it's not playing. Oh, wow. That's interesting. It won't show it. Look at this. It won't show it. It shows this. Were you able to hear him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's just play that then.
President Barack Obama conceding that the UFO thing seems to be real. We can't explain what they are. That is the consensus all of a sudden. 60 Minutes did a long piece of it on Sunday night. This after decades of mocking anybody who suggested, well, maybe there's something to this. The consensus has changed. And more than any other person, Lou Elizondo is responsible for that. More than any other person, he's the reason we're having this conversation tonight. Elizondo spent nearly 2 decades in military intelligence before he was named director of the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. And ever since he's been pushing for transparency on this issue, we're honored to have him on tonight. Lou, thanks so much for coming. So we are getting this much anticipated report, June. The law requires the Pentagon to kind of fess up and say what they know. What are we going to learn, do you think, next month?
Well, what we should learn is exactly that, what the U.S. government knows about this topic and has known for a while. It's a threat assessment that's supposed to be conducted at the unclassified level and then provided to Congress, which is a report that is expected to be comprehensive. And certainly that's a report that Congress deserves. Unfortunately, what we might get is something that is much more watered down. And I think from my perspective, that's probably the most concerning part of this. The last thing we need is more obfuscation.
That is interesting.
That's for sure. It's infuriating even to think after.
I tried pausing it the same way. It doesn't work the same. So, well, I'm going to go, I guess, Emmanuel, what did you think about what he just said?
Well, it's nice. It's kind of refreshing to hear somebody on the mainstream media say that.
Well, that was Lou Elizondo saying that.
Oh,
yeah. I know. Without seeing it, it was hard to tell. I guess. Lou basically was saying, we're going to see something. Let's just hope it's not all redacted. Let's just hope they don't give us a watered down version of the reality, which is kind of strange because Greer is saying that about Luis Elizondo and Mellon. This is really weird. This has got to be the weirdest day for ufology because of what Greer did, throwing in that monkey wrench. Michael, what'd you hear out of that?
I mean, between Greer and Lou Elizondo, yeah, the question is who do you believe here? They're both throwing wrenches in the same direction, but truth of the matter is what Lou Elizondo opened up with here is a very safe thing. He's not really saying more than what we would already expect. If you actually gave this a little bit of thought, they're really going to give us all this information? No, it'll probably be redacted. I mean, I think, even the common listener or somebody who occasionally gets into ufology could come to that conclusion. So while I do agree with you, Emmanuel, it's nice to hear something a little bit different from the voice that is always in mainstream media, touting something on the polar opposite. I still think he's just playing it safe. And this is sort of an empty jump into the conversation. And
I'm not going to play the rest because I'm a little nervous to play it because they're not giving me the screen. So I'm assuming, Rich, too soon. They didn't post it yet on YouTube, so maybe I shouldn't. But Disclosure TV, what is your first name?
My name's Dan.
Dan. Well, it's nice to meet you, man. I forgot to ask you your name.
Yeah, likewise there.
Dan the man.
I was just going to call you Disclosure TV, and actually it's Disclosure TV News, right?
Yeah, either one works.
All right.
Either one.
So I know you already heard what me, Michael, and Emmanuel were saying, but anything you want to add to what Lou just said?
Well, actually, a couple of things. Lou Elizondo, I think, just keeps repeating himself, especially over the last couple years. And one of the things that bothers me about Lou was that he left TTSA right after he got the Army research contract, which and he started and he went to he had a contract to make advanced military vehicles. And that's what I understand. And I actually tried to find that video today of him talking. Yeah. And the other thing is that, there's also another question really is why are they repeating the same things? It could be a possibility that since there's an increased renewed interest in UFOs and they brought it more into the mainstream, they could possibly need to, get everybody on the same level, put people on the same level as, a lot of people don't know what's been happening over the last 70 years, especially with the newer generation. They have no idea.
Yeah, I think that's why we're seeing the Twitter generation really go to that side and they believe all what's happening. They haven't been disappointed with lies enough. This is their first time they're going through everything. Well, actually TTSA kind of did break up in a sense. So they've had that. But no, like when I first started, and I remember 1997, but I started in 2004, that, I heard Disclosure was going to happen in 97 because they were talking about the Phoenix Lights and all that conversation came up. And then in 2005, they had Disclosure Con or Disclosure with Greer and Bassett. They said Disclosure in 2 years, nothing. Disclosure in 2 more years, nothing, So they stopped saying it. And now it's about the threat out of nowhere for stuff that happened 17 years ago, mind you. Yeah, 17 years ago. Yeah, we feel threatened now.
So annoying.
17 years later.
It's tiring.
I think that that the UFO thing is probably a whole lot more secretive than what people think it is.
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably up there with if it's not in a number 1 slot.
Yeah, that in the afterlife, that would have to be the top 2, right?
I just put in a FOIA request for Charles Hapgood, and the CIA sent me paperwork asking why I wanted them. They actually sent me papers, and they wanted me my social security number. They wanted my date of birth, my everything. And I just mailed it back to him today. And I was like, over Charles Hapgood and, the Adam and Eve story. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. You want all that information just for that? I was like, it's just a simple FOIA request.
They don't need that. Yeah, that's crazy. Right. And besides, they should have all that stuff anyway if they are who they say they are.
Yeah.
Come on, man. CIA, they know it. They knew things before you did. All right. Obama got in on the action on CNN. I just want to play this short clip. It's not that long. It's 7 minutes. No, I'm kidding. It's only about a minute. So here we go. This should work. Oh, by the way, are we having any issues? No buffering. I saw someone say they're having buffering, but nobody. All right. Here's Obama. Hopefully it'll work.
At Pulte Homes, we
What?
build spaces to make your life better. Like dedicated
You see, I
office
thought
space
I
with Wi-Fi
advanced
for you to
this.
stay-
You know how you can play them and then you pause it and get it ready? Well, I was watching Obama's face sitting there, but it must have been too long. I did it like 40 minutes ago. We'll just wait for this commercial to end. Unbelievable. Oh, gosh, this is great.
You know, I think Obama's face in this video is the most important thing to watch.
Oh, for real? Okay, I'll pay more attention. Here we go. And here we go again.
Things I just can't tell you on air.
Former President Barack Obama was asked to reveal what he knows about UFOs, The Late Late Show with James Corden. Unidentified flying object, UFOs, or unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, as the military calls them, have been in the news lately. The U.S. military, this is just a repeat. I want to hear him confirm the authenticity of several images and videos showing UFOs. The Late Late Show band leader Reggie Watts put Obama on the spot about what he learned as president.
I know that doesn't necessarily mean aliens. It is just a UAF. But I was wondering if you have a theory about that.
When I came into office, I asked, right? I was like, all right, is there the lab somewhere where we're keeping the alien specimens in spaceship? They did a little bit of research, and the answer was no.
Obama went on to offer a more serious assessment on UFOs.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory. People still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is. But I have nothing to report to you today.
The Office of Director of National Intelligence and other agencies is scheduled to deliver their unclassified reports on UFOs in Congress in June. Really? Didn't know it. Never heard about it. Emmanuel, you're up, man. What do you think? Anything special about what Obama said, or is it just another tongue-in-cheek type of thing?
It felt very tongue-in-cheek, and I think once people move past that, then everyone will take it a little bit more seriously, because it's still that's just not. I just don't think that that's called for at this point,
Do you think he knows anything? Do you think he saw any documents on UFOs or any pictures, videos?
I would imagine so. I mean,
really? Okay.
As the president, I'm sure they're privy to some highly classified stuff. I mean, obviously not everything, but I mean,
yeah.
From President Reagan, where I think he kind of initiated. Well, not really initiated, but his experience and forthright, expression of how he felt about it, somewhat, kind of, sort of leading a path for presidents to embark on that somewhat daunting journey.
He was like the more personable about it than most presidents, really. I mean, before him, Jimmy Carter talked about how he saw it took off, Michael, do you think Obama saw anything, ever had a little bit of disclosure over there?
Yeah, I think he's had a sliver of disclosure insofar as he needed to.
I don't think so.
Well, I don't think it's in the way that, most people would think, wherein he was given a good chunk saying, hey, there are aliens or we have all this technology. They might have said something more in the way of implying that we have this technology, or there are other factions that are working on certain things. And yes, we don't really know everything in the sky. I mean, in this video here, it sort of reminds me of Trump when he was sitting with his son, except, I think Trump was even more tongue in cheek with the way he was kind of talking about that. But either way, they both admitted in very hesitant words. And you could tell Obama was really picking and choosing his words at that moment in describing something. And just, again, the end here is that they're saying we have things in the sky that we don't know what they are. That's small admittance. It might not seem like much, but that actually relinquishes the control for most of our minds in respect to what the government may have. And that's really significant in respect to the collective.
By the way, I did see a couple of super chats earlier, and everything's scanned by. I really don't know who it was. Do you guys remember who sent those? Michael? Anybody? I feel bad.
I saw, oh gee, who was it? I was looking at the time, but I was
I
listening.
always give thanks
Sorry.
to those. No, I'm sorry. I jumped over you. I want to look for that. Dan, you said something about Obama's face. What did you notice on that then?
Yeah, I thought you were going to play the video with Stephen Colbert.
Oh, that one. Yeah. I think I have that up too. Yeah, I didn't.
If you watch his face in that one, that's just telling enough. His face in that
Oh,
video.
I can't play that because it's an actual TV show, not a newscast. So
Yeah.
I have it, but I can't play it.
But I believe that every president has had some disclosure, but some more than others. And I do believe Dr. Stephen Greer's theory on that, on which presidents know, which don't know, and I think that's because some of them have had to actually deal with a situation where there was a UFO situation, or there's an issue, a military issue with a UFO, and that president had to be brought up to speed on what's happening. And I think that's what Dr. Greer believes. He believes that some of them know and some of them don't. And that's what I think a lot of them don't know. They may know a little, but I don't think they know the whole picture or the whole story.
Yeah. The president is part-time. He's not a lifer. So why disclose that kind of stuff? I mean, maybe they can just say, we have stuff, we just can't show it to you. But if we ever need to, we'll let you see it. Ash Dobbs, $10 super chat earlier. Thank you very much. I can't do the normal Super Generoso thing over and over, but you get it. Super Generoso, by the way. He says, good evening, Rich, Michael. And the other one was John Haggett, $10 super sticker. He's got the pair jumping up and down. Number one fan. Yeah, all right. Thank you very much for that. And William Bridges with a $50 smack dab right in the middle of the chat, super chat, here for keeping the info real. Thank you. Wow. You guys are all super generous. I appreciate it. Mr. Bridges, that is phenomenal. Everybody, phenomenal and super generoso. Let's get into, because we've got a 3-hour show, basically. I'm not going to be able to go through all this in 2 hours because I want to play Greer and I want to play it. And he does start repeating things over and over, but here we go. This is amazing. I mean, I was impressed with Greer only because it was something different, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about the threat. It was about something else that was really concerning to me. Here we go.
Joining you from my home out in the Blue Ridge Mountains outside Charlottesville, Virginia, near the University of Virginia. And this is an update, sort of urgent. Many of you may have seen recently that the Disclosure Project pro bono attorney, Daniel Sheehan, who did the Pentagon Papers, Iran-Contra, the Silkwood case, and many others, is now working with Luis Elizondo. And so a lot of people are very confused.
Hey, I thought it was the mute button.
Of course, everyone on this call probably knows Luis Elizondo is a professional disinformation agent, putting out false intelligence about the UFO matter in through the mainstream media. The reason Mr. Sheehan is doing this, we've had a long discussion about it going back 2 or 3 weeks, is that Luis Elizondo approached him to help him with his legal case because the Pentagon was about to pull his security clearances. And it wasn't because he was doing things with TTSA, that they wanted him to do that. It was because he had resigned from TTSA, fallen out with the people that were the hardliners wanting him to present that there was an alien threat or a threat to the national security. And he has told 2 people on my team, including attorney Daniel Sheehan, that he knows, and the other people like Chris Mellon know, that there is no such thing as an alien threat, that there is not a threat to the national security. That's the only way they can get this in front of the American people.
Okay, now that made me irate. That's just awful that Luis Elizondo actually said that. You know what I mean? Michael, I want to start with you on this. That's really compelling that Luis Elizondo actually admitted that. And here he is in front of the world, and Greer knows it, and so do other people, that he's basically lying. Are we supposed to believe that? Or do you think Greer would go out of the way and lie about it? I don't think he'd lie.
I mean, how many facets does Lou Elizondo, as the person, the disinformant, the upstage face of ufology? I mean, how many facets does this guy actually have? And what would it take for somebody to sabotage themselves? I think if he was going to give us something, a really confidential, obviously he would be jeopardizing himself and breaking certain oaths. But in doing that, maybe it was his concern for the rest of the world. I don't know. There's a lot of contradiction here that I'm having trouble kind of climbing over, especially when it comes to Lou Elizondo. But now I hear what Dr. Greer is saying, and there's some reflection in the stories between the two. But what is the chemistry between these two guys who have such conflicting stories? And Lou being so forward, being on every television show. I mean, what if it was Greer who was up there doing this, where Lou is sitting right now? We'd have a completely different experience entirely, man.
Yeah, I think if that was the case, we'd be thinking there's going to be an invasion, and and things would change on Earth, but we would all pull together somehow. Dan, Disclosure TV, what's going on with this guy? Greer lying, telling the truth? Who's lying?
That's a good question. Sometimes you just have to laugh about that question.
I know.
Honest, because I mean, how many times have you heard that in ufology? Are they lying? Well,
every time.
I'm more. I'll tell you this. My channel is more research based, and I actually do research, and I like to look at every crumb of evidence that they have, whether it's good, whether it's bad, and I try to go into that unbiased. And I try to do the best I can with being unbiased.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a UFO believer to begin with. And I never thought about it one way or the other until I got into watching UFO videos in my, early or late 20s. And I let the evidence speak for itself. When it comes to Lou, the things that I've researched on Lou and Dr. Greer both, Dr. Greer he's more informative than Lou is. Dr. Greer gives more factual statements, more evidence. He gives more proof. Where Lou Elizondo is he keeps saying the same thing over again. And like I said, I think Lou is I have a different opinion on Lou. I better just keep my mouth shut on that one.
Because I can't play the Tucker. I can play it, but I won't take the risk. Tucker asked Lou tonight, do we have any debris? And Luis Elizondo sat there for a second, and he goes, most likely. So he's gave a most likely and said, well, I think so. What did he say last time? He goes, he didn't, did he say, does he keep saying most likely? I don't know, but he gave a most likely.
Lou actually there was a video, several videos that showed Lou actually unboxing, especially one from the History Channel. It showed them unboxing all these rare metals that they had collected during his time at ATIP, and he actually went and during his time at TTSA, he used some of the funding that TTSA received to go buy these materials that were said to have come from alien craft. Now, for him to say we might have metals or materials from alien craft when he's actually shown it on television, I mean, that's just that contradicts itself right there. I mean, which one do you believe? Do they have are there materials from alien craft? And he said both. He thinks they are, but he's actually showed some of it on video. So which one do you believe? I mean,
this is a weird day.
yeah.
Emmanuel.
Well, I was just saying he's talking out of both sides of his mouth, you know.
Who is Greer or
Alexandro?
Who do you think we should believe? You know what I mean? This is if you go by the evidence that's been dropped by Corbell, and I don't like it, as you guys probably know. I don't think it's good evidence. I think it's the worst. I also think there's another reason they're doing it. But if you go by the evidence, well, you would have to say it's awful. And I wouldn't believe these guys if I went by the evidence. It's just really strange how they put this stuff out that's obviously just a blob. Didn't look like it went into the water. The other pictures Nat brought in. So who would you go with then, based on evidence?
Oh, Greer. Definitely.
Greer's got a lot of good stuff, man.
I think his intention is a lot more transparent. You know, money, you know, loyalty goes where the money flows. So that's how I feel with Alessandro. Loyalty goes where the money flows.
Now, sometimes I'm going to play these clips, guys, just so you know. If I don't ask you a question, it's not because I don't want your answer. It's just we've got so much. I may just ask one of you and then continue on. So it'll be random. Just be on your toes. Here we go. More Greer. More Greer. All right.
Get more overt funding for the Space Force and eventually a conflict with these extraterrestrial civilizations. He has flat out said he knows that everything he's been saying about this being a threat is untrue. Now, Daniel Sheehan has also shared, and this is even more explosive, that Luis Elizondo has informed him that he, in fact, has been in a facility where an actual extraterrestrial vehicle was stored. Now, why is that important? Because he's all over the news, 60 Minutes, every mainstream news channel, along with his other cohorts in the cover-up, such as Leslie Keene, Nick Pope, Chris Mellon, and others, saying that we don't know what these are. Now, interestingly, he absolutely knows that some of these craft are in fact of extraterrestrial origin. He must also then know that some of them are ours. For example, the recent Jeremy Corbell interview on Fox News, where they were showing these triangles swarming, menacing our Navy ships. Every one of those pyramid triangular shaped objects with flashing light on them are from either Northrop Grumman or Boeing or the Lockheed, most likely Northrop Grumman. Those are man-made UFOs. They're anti-gravity vehicles. Everyone in the aerospace industry at any level of clearance knows this.
Wait a minute. Did he just say what I think he just said, that those triangle videos that with the bokeh and everything, that he said those are actually anti-gravity vehicles? Did he say that? Anybody?
Man-made.
They're man-made?
Ours.
Is that
yeah.
Yep.
That's what I heard.
So they're not wait, I thought he said they were okay, so he said they're ours, but they're anti-gravity.
Yep.
Really? Let me see.
Let's hear it again.
Flashing light on them are from either Northrop Grumman or Boeing or the Lockheed, most likely Northrop Grumman.
Wow, he did say that. I'm like daydreaming on what I want to say, you know, so sometimes I lose my place. So what do you think about that, Emmanuel?
Well, it's awesome that somebody's stepping forward, you know, and bringing this information. And I sincerely, you know, applaud Dr. Greer, you know, stepping forward like this, because it's, you know, who else is doing that? I mean,
but
on
he
this
said
level,
that,
you know.
But he said that Elizondo was in a room with a craft, basically.
Right.
Am I wrong on that? Is that right, guys?
Yeah, Alexandro said that he was, but then he's going on the media platform saying that he doesn't know, or, you know, it's a, you know, that, so.
All right. Yeah, it's interesting. Anybody else want to throw into their 2 cents?
just another confirmation of what we've already suspected. And, though we don't have concrete evidence of it, we're now actually talking about it. And now in the way of admittance, again, people are starting to come up with the same things that we've been talking about. Maybe it's just more confirmation, but with these sort of things, we sort of have to take their word for it for whatever it's worth, because of, the research reaching a certain end at a point in way of evidence. So, it's in the wind, guys. It's in the wind. Where's it going to land? That's the question.
Red Panda just joined us. Red Panda, you hear us?
I can.
Sweet. All right, man. Thanks for calling in. I'm going to get to Greer, and then I'll come back and start with you, and then I'll go to Dan.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for hanging out. Here we go. Remember, no swearing, no C-19.
UFOs, they're anti-gravity vehicles. Everyone in the aerospace industry at any level of clearance knows this. So this is a big problem. So I told Mr. Sheehan, I said, look, you have to be very careful. If you're going to work with this gentleman, you have to understand that he is a master of disinformation. I am quoting from a senior CIA official who wrote me about this when they first emerged after Unacknowledged came out in 2017. And of course, Daniel Sheehan knows this. He told me point blank, yes, we know this. The main reason he's working with him is to represent him and to get him to come clean. So it's a very interesting strategy. What Daniel Sheehan is trying to do is to get Luis Elizondo, and then perhaps after him, some of the others, to actually admit that they know that there is not a threat from the UFOs, and that
oh my God, no way. All right, let me continue. He's going to say something else.
they have been coerced into doing so.
Oh no. Oh my God, can you believe that? He wants him now to come clean after 2 years of saying it's a threat, it's a threat, it's a threat. No way is that going to happen. Well, I guess that's why Sheehan's there, just in case I guess he has to. Red Panda, what is up? What do you think about that?
Man, it's hard to say. I've never really experienced these, ufology turf wars. You're throwing names out in, plain daylight. It's hard to say where it's going to go next. But they're already talking about having a lawyer involved, so where it goes is anybody's guess at this point.
Yeah, well, Lou, he's afraid that he's going to lose his clearance and all this stuff. I guess Greer's going to talk about that more. But it's Lou is putting himself in a really strange place. Now, he was already in that place, but Greer is now really turning the screws. Dan, what about that? I mean, to say that, it's amazing to me that Lou may come out. Greer said he might be forced to tell the truth, that it isn't a threat. Do you think that would happen?
I don't see that happening. I see if he does that, then there goes all of his credibility.
Right. How can he do that? Then that means that yeah.
And I think when you stopped the video the last time when Dr. Greer was talking about Lou Elizondo had been in buildings that contained these craft, I think that was maybe he's talking about the Bigelow Aerospace buildings. When I researched Bigelow Aerospace, from what I understand, I'm not even sure if they own the buildings, but I know they built the buildings. I do know that they built them.
Yeah, I wonder how they're constructed
to do so. Yeah, and they actually do. And even though they built the buildings, they actually do a lot of. Bigelow actually, I think they even built the International Space Station, and they're actually going to build a new one.
Oh, they're overdue. Yeah, that thing's real old.
So yeah, they're actually. So I think they've got a Bigelow Aerospace has a lot to do with space, and probably a lot to do with the metal and the craft and all that. So for Dr. Greer to say that, that kind of changes my mind a little bit on Elizondo. I mean, maybe he has been in these buildings, and maybe Bigelow Aerospace does have something to do with all this.
I think so.
As well.
I think so. Tonight we're talking about now, what Greer just announced, this is amazing. Greer put out like a 35-minute, I don't know, what do you want to call an announcement on forcing maybe Lou to go public and say that it's not a threat, and how Lou now has the lawyer helping him out, and all sorts of mayhem and chaos right now. We've got Michael from Dark Hour Paranormal sitting in with me. I also have Emmanuel, who joined in the top right there, and Dan from Disclosure TV News, bottom right. And we also have Red Panda, who chimed in, is all in the black screen. He's just going to chill. And just joining us is Clarence from Closer Encounters, bottom left. What's up, buddy? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome. When we come back, we're going to start with you, and then we're going to ask Michael, and we're going to do two at a time, I figured. But let's keep our answers, to a good minute and a half, because I am going to be here until we're done. So it's not a 2-hour show tonight. It's probably 3. So here we go. I'm going to continue with Greer. Make sure your mics are either muted or keep it quiet in the background. Here we go. 3, 2, go.
Recently on the internet, on a YouTube interview that's now been taken down, Daniel Sheehan admitted that there was an inspector general of the Pentagon had been pulled in to look into complaints from Luis Elizondo at the insistence of Daniel Sheehan about him being threatened with loss of his security clearance not because he was disclosing classified material, but because he went off the leash and was not wanting to continue to say the falsehood that these were an alien threat. I think in large part because Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which exposes that as an absolute bull-faced lie, has now been seen by millions and millions of people, and it's one of the top trending documentaries on Amazon Prime and elsewhere. So what is happening here, just so people get clear, is it is not that Daniel Sheehan has defected to the dark side or anything like that. He's trying to encourage Luis Elizondo, and I think by extension some of these others, to in fact defect from the disinformation and lies that they have been saying in the mainstream media, up on Capitol Hill, and in other places about this subject. The two very big lies that they're telling, as well as their acolytes, people like Leslie Keene, who had worked with me originally on the Disclosure Project. By the way, she subsequently raided our pool of disclosure witnesses after she got on the inside, and along with some other people, put those nuclear military site witnesses, people who had been at nuclear silos and in other places together, and spun the story that the aliens, or whatever these UFOs are, were degrading our nuclear arsenal readiness, and therefore were they a national security concern and threat. Also a lie, because every one of those men told me that they felt that the ETs were trying to say, please do not blow up this beautiful planet, but if you go so far as to launch thousands of these, we can basically disable them. So she is also someone who has pivoted towards getting the money and the attention and the mainstream coverage by basically telling a lie. That A, we don't know what these are, that B, it's a national security concern, and C, G, recently she said in an interview, Leslie Keene said, I think it was on Sunday morning, CBS, wow, maybe they're from Russia or China. Well, of course she knows that's not true. She sat there with people like Mark McCandless, with the schematics of the main man-made UFOs, with people who had retrieved the actual ET craft and the bodies. She knows what the truth is about this, and yet she continues to go out into the public and tell the same two large lies. One, that these are some kind of national security threat or concern, and number two, that we do not know what they are or where they're from.
All right. So he said a lot, but he kept, basically saying the same thing a different way. There's man-made, it sounded like. There's aliens. I don't know if the aliens are alive or we got the bodies or they're all dead or whatever. I guess I'm starting off with Clarence, Closer Encounters. What did you take from that, and what do you think?
Well, boy, I got a lot to say about Greer. You know that.
yeah, but just about this part.
No, I get that. Yeah. Here's the thing. He's right, and then he's not right. Okay. And I have to agree with him. There is no threat. All right, this whole ordeal, like I talked about the other night when I called you, this is nothing but Richard Doty 2.0, but bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This whole thing is just a scam. That's all it is. It's a big hoax. And, I have to agree with Greer on that. Yeah, absolutely.
How is it? Because is it the same thing he's saying as you believe the same thing Greer's saying, that it's just for funding and stuff, is it for black projects? I mean, what is it for?
No, it's definitely for black projects. I'm pretty sure.
But that's okay. Wouldn't Greer want that to happen though?
Well, maybe not,
See, do we care? Should we care as much as we do, Clarence?
As far as you and I go, yeah.
No, everybody. I mean, yeah, I know, right? But what's the harm as long as the money goes down the funnel into the right areas, right?
Absolutely. I agree.
So
yeah.
I guess the harm is lying to the public, which is Greer's point.
Right.
He thinks that this lawyer, Sheehan, is going to convince these people, Fravor, Dietrich and the others, to say, hey, we've been lying for 2 years. Yeah, come on,
more
man.
than that, a long
See,
time.
that's why I have a problem with what Greer's trying to do.
Well, okay,
does he have a real purpose? Should he be doing this, or should he just kept his mouth shut?
Well, he's doing it because, all right, this is the guy that goes out on the beach and collects money from people, showing them flares, claiming that they're UFOs, okay? But they're friendly, right?
Yeah.
So he's got an agenda, okay? Besides that, you remember, I think it was Dark Hour mentioned the fact about the medals, okay?
Yeah.
Those guys bought those medals from Linda Moulton Howe.
For $35,000, yeah.
Exactly, for $35,000. It ain't like they got them out of the field or somebody else sent them to them or anything like that. So they don't know what these medals are either. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So, I mean, they're using all of this stuff as basically a big story. I mean, that's all it is. Right now, they got all of mainstream media just going totally bonkers, and everybody's up in arms. And I'm trying to tell them, look, just settle down. Don't worry about it. This is not what you think it is,
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to FAP for, I think, two $5 super chats in the last 10 minutes. So thank you very much for that, FAP. Mucho generoso. And Third Phase of Moon will be joining us here in a few minutes. So when they come on, I don't want you guys to leave if you don't want to. Hang out, please, because I could have 10 people on here. So, but Michael, Greer just said a lot, but he repeated a lot of the same thing. Clarence said most of it. You want to add anything to that?
Well, what I'm kind of taking away from what he's saying here, it almost sounds like he's implying that we're winning, meaning that the side of truth and information is sort of forcing those who have been lying all this time to eventually oust themselves. The only way, in my opinion, that could ever really happen is that if every single person who's ever said anything in the way of a falsity about this subject came all out at once and said, hey, we were lying, and then pointed in the direction of the source or the coercion that they may have had. My thought here is this, too, when he's talking about perhaps a possible origin to the false narrative in, the way the nuclear power and so forth. Wouldn't the extraterrestrials be really upset with the group of people that they've given, the idea that they're coming in some sort of benevolence or what have you, having these positive affects, and then these people turning around and literally twisting it for their own benefit or the benefit of some group of people. There's a lot being said here, and you were right. He did say the same thing in different ways, but it's a very strange web that he's weaving here, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing. What's going on, Michael?
Let me ask you guys something just for the heck of it. All right, now you remember these videos of the Tic Tac and all that stuff that come out, and you got these people. Now, if these things are such a threat, why would you send these training people to chase them without even being armed?
Wait, can you repeat that? Why would we what?
Why would we have these pilots that were in training go out and chase them without even being armed?
Right. Well, they were out on a training mission.
Right. But if there's such a threat, why would you do that?
I know. That's right. That's a good point.
Why would you bother with them? Why would you get close to them?
Well, like Graves said, Ryan Graves said, we saw them so much we took them for granted. And I guess they knew they weren't a threat because they were, for 2 years, they saw them. Somebody saw something, so that's why.
Every day for 2 years. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Somebody saw something. FAP with another $20 super chat. That's amazing, bro. Thank you very much. And Mr. DB Cooper with a $10 super chat saying, are you not entertained? Yeah, this is we are entertained. Yes, we are definitely entertained by all of this. That's funny. Yeah, it's entertaining. If you really think about it, this is like the best it's been for me. Yeah, I can't remember when. It's probably never been this good. Third phase of moon. What's up, brothers?
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Yeah. Doing good.
Doing fantastic, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, let me tell you, crazy day. I woke up this morning, got an email, talked to Dr. Greer. He said, you got to get the word out. We're going big on this. And I'm like, well, I looked at about 2 minutes of that video and I'm like, holy crap, Dr. Greer's dropping it here and he's calling out names. And it's at the exact perfect timing, guys, that, the 60 minutes. We've been talking about this for so long, for many years, but finally, Dr. Greer laid it down and said, hey, this narrative needs to stop. And there's these lies that are going around, this false threat. And I applaud Dr. Greer for him coming forward and actually saying what he did today. It's just really refreshing. It's vindicating in a way as well, because now it's not just us talking about it. I know Rich has been one of these forerunners in this subject matter for a long time, calling out the names. At Third Phase Moon, we kind of put out the evidence and we kind of stay out of all this drama. We don't really call out the names, but now that Dr. Greer's calling it out, well, we put it up and hey, we're just putting up the information. We're not really taking sides on everything, but I have to agree a lot with what Dr. Greer is saying, because again, it's about time. And let's see if they call Dr. Greer out, some of these people like Luis Elizondo, and rebut what Dr. Greer has to say. Are they going to just remain silent and not even bring up what the words of the statements, this false threat narrative, these lies? Again, one of the best parts of the video today, I really like when Dr. Greer stated that, if these craft out there are being reverse engineered and man-made and being used by a private corporation, that's a threat, but not the aliens, not the, beings from another, galaxy or another solar system. It's our own making, and they're getting it confused. And that's all he wants. He just wants to have that clarified. So why don't they just clarify this and admit that we have technology within corporations, private corporations, that don't have to tell the government anything? And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing high technology 100 years in advance, and we know exactly where they're coming from. Do you guys realize what's going on here? This is kind of big. This false narrative is trying to, I think I understand the concept now. And just hang on just for a second, and I'll let you guys chime in. But what I'm thinking is that they want to make this false threat narrative just to trick everybody or confuse all other adversaries, other countries, that, hey, look, it's not our technology. We don't know what it is. Therefore, the other countries don't have to think that, hey, we're a threat, because they don't want, the U.S. doesn't want to be perceiving or be perceived as having this asset or this high technology. So they're playing dumb. And I think that's one of the reasons why this false narrative is out, to trick other countries and to shift this technology into a obscure mystery when in fact it's not.
Richard Doty 2.0.
So, yep, it is. That's why I have the new Mirage Men up there as the thumbnail. That's interesting what you said, third phase. I don't know. I was going to say Blake or Brent. Who are we speaking with? I can't tell with the headphones on. You sound different than when I normally talk to you. Is this Brent?
No, you got Blake here. It's Blake. I guess I got this webcam mic, but yeah.
Okay.
We're both on. Brent's here.
Oh, okay. It was hard to tell. And believe me, I was trying. I can usually tell because I talk to you a lot. So I'm a little confused. All right. I'm really confused with Greer. So does Greer think there's aliens that are out there? Or I know you said that he is it really is our stuff that we're seeing, but are we seeing alien technology at the same time, like real aliens? Is that what Greer thinks?
No,
what Greer's thinking that what these Tic Tacs, the gimbal, whatever these Navy pilots are experiencing, our military has experienced in these engagements, this is all man-made, possibly reverse engineered alien technology. But in fact, it is still a man-made craft that we harnessed, and we have the ultimate meta propulsion. But Greer does believe that there are aliens out there and we're being visited by them, but they're not going to come forward when this kind of language is being put forward, because why would they want to come forward now that they're a threat? They don't want to get shot down, possibly, Roswell all over again or whatever. So there is this, it's sad what this mainstream media is doing. And I'm so glad, again, Greer's coming out and calling them out for what they're doing.
Do you realize, everybody, how unbelievable this is that Greer did this today?
Yeah.
This is the most unbelievable thing that's happened to ufology, and I don't know when, probably ever, because Greer just threw in that monkey wrench we talked about in the beginning. He just changed everything.
Well, you remember, Rich, a couple of weeks ago, I sent you that video of that drone flying off the deck of the ship there. And
yeah.
Not many people would know about this kind of stuff.
No.
You see what I'm saying? And until we dig into the research and actually bring it out and show people, nobody would know this. So this is what Greer is talking about, is this kind of stuff,
So it's not aliens. It's alien back engineered crafts or whatever technology. The videos that we're seeing from Corbell, I don't even know what they are, but that's supposedly what we back engineered, and that's what Greer is saying.
Right.
Okay. Now I got that. So now that, do you think, guys, Blake, that the Luis Elizondo and everybody else that's affiliated with the threat assessment is going to come out and say, all right, it's not a threat assessment? No way, man.
It surprises me that they don't even bring up that scenario, that there could be a private corporation that retains this technology, owns it,
right.
And they have no responsibility to share it with anybody. The president doesn't need to know about this, and that's why it's in a private corporation. Like I heard in the discussion earlier, the president's not privy to everything. Right. Well, he is privy to everything that's involved with the government, the military, anything government affiliated. He could walk in, open up any door, and look and see whatever he wants. They can't hide that from him. That would be treason. But if we have a private corporation that holds this technology, they don't have to answer to anybody, as long as they're not, violating laws of, in a way of some endangerment, criminality, like maybe an eco disaster could be possibly affiliated with this technology. But as long as they're not breaking any laws, they don't have to tell anybody. If we developed our own anti-gravity aircraft and we built it in our own garage and we could exceed 30,000 miles and they can't touch us, who's going to find out? So there's this private corporation having a lot of fun right now with the black budget, $2 trillion Tic Tacs that are flying around. I think that's the budgeted on these craft are about $1 trillion to $2 trillion each.
I'm going to say, hold on.
Look how many corporations we got making their own spacecraft right now. Elon Musk and those guys shooting stuff off all the time, Yeah. Same kind of deal.
Yeah, he's got those reusable. No. I thought I heard somebody knocking at the door. No, they've got reusable rockets. So and they land and they come back. You're right. It's amazing. And where did that technology come from? Well, I think that was just us. I don't think it was back engineered from alien craft. No. But anyway, Okay, what I'm about to say, third phase, you don't have to answer this or talk about this at all, because Greer doesn't have the best reputation in the field. He's as questionable as the threat assessment we're hearing. So what side do we believe? Now, listening to Elizondo and all those guys and seeing the Corbell videos, I could tell you this, they're not telling us the truth because of the videos don't match up to what we're being told we're supposed to see. So that makes me think Greer's telling the truth. But then again, how do we know he's telling the truth, especially with his checkered past, which I don't think should be that checkered, by the way, but there are some things that are suspect. So is this just something Greer wanted to do to get himself in the spotlight?
Well, he's been in this for how many years, Rich?
Forever, yeah. I know.
Longer, a lot longer than the TTSA or Lou even thought about it. So, yeah.
I know, but what I'm saying, what I want to say then is, I don't think Greer is doing this for the spotlight. I think he's doing this because his belief is one that I believe in. And I think I'm a pretty smart guy. And just because I believe with him doesn't mean he hasn't been in, some
right.
Shady,
I agree.
Not shady stuff, but stuff that shouldn't be, whatever.
That's where I'm at.
But I like what Greer's saying. And Michael, what do you think about that? I haven't gotten back to you in a while.
Exactly. What are you referring to? Because we've been talking about a lot here as we just went through.
I know. It's true. Just the last thing I said about Greer and his past, should that really, I don't know, take away from what he did tonight just because he's got a skeptical past?
No, I don't think it should take away from that message. I mean, whatever the reason is that he's done what he's done and gotten involved in, what he's gotten involved in, doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't have some sort of information that he's trying to share with us. It's tough when these figures are so nebulous in the way of their validity. And I'm sure, some of them who are actually legitimate, feel this frustration too in the way of presentation. But, again, to answer your question, Rich, no, I don't think we should look at Greer any differently. We should look at the message. We should be listening to the words, what he's saying, sometimes in between the lines. And that might go for a couple handful of people who are doing this on the level that Greer is. But no, don't ever put stock in a one person unless you have the evidence. But please definitely entertain and consider what's being delivered.
That's really well said. Yeah, exactly. Emmanuel, what do you think on Greer? Is he somebody that we should be siding with? And what do you think?
We should be
it's a big matzo ball out there, I know.
I definitely beyond appreciate any and all information that in my intuition and heart and gut feel is legitimate. I mean, nothing can take away a personal experience, So when you know something's real, you just have to sort of take what you can that you think is, legit, because we don't have the evidence in front of us. But a lot of it is intuition, I mean, that's a part of Dr. Greer's whole concept as well, is consciousness, and being part of, tapping into that source, the consciousness that we can connect with these extraterrestrial. And like, he's not the Jesus of that, but it's just, I believe that somebody who goes out on that limb on such a scale definitely has good intentions and is, should definitely be valued.
It was different tonight with Greer. I felt his sincerity in a different way. I felt like he is upset. He definitely wants us to know the truth, and he feels that the public should know the truth, as do I, Third Phase of Moon, Michael, and everybody else. Now, guys, Third Phase, I know you guys are here now, and I was playing Greer's, 30 minutes here. I'll stop playing it. I don't want to play it while you're here, but is it, do you want me to, so we can keep the conversation going on different talking points? Do you care? Can you stay, or do you want to get out of here?
Well, yeah, you can share some portions of it. No problem. It's a great talking point. So go ahead, share a cut, and then we'll have a discussion on it.
Because I know you guys are busy. If you're 6 hours behind me, so I understand that. That's why I just looked at the clock and realized it's almost not even 5:30 yet for you. All right, I'm going to continue this, and then when we come back, I will go to Red Pandas because it's been a minute. So here we go.
To say these very scripted things in the mainstream media so that he has been able to buy some really pricey real estate in Soho.
Oh, that was
London
about Nick
and
Pope.
elsewhere.
Yeah, let's go back here. Sorry.
So these people that you see on 60 Minutes, that you see on Fox News and CNN and all the media, this is the ramping up of the false disclosure that we warned about in 1999 when we wrote the paper, When the Disclosure Serves Secrecy. Why? Because they want people to now know that there are UFOs, but they want to put this big lie out there that they are a national security threat and concern. This is what Nick Pope and others keep saying. By the way, Nick Pope has admitted to 2 people on my team that he has been paid large sums of money to say these very scripted things in the mainstream media so that he has been able to buy some really pricey real estate in Soho and London and elsewhere. One of my concerns about this is that while I normally do not engage in sort of gossip, is that now that these people are miseducating deliberately the American people and the world on this, it is a very big concern. They have stepped into another level of deception. It's one thing if you're at a UFO conference in front of 1,000 people. It's another thing if there are millions and millions of people hearing this live. Now, all these people, from Chris Mellon to Luis Elizondo, to Leslie Kean, to Nick Pope, and others, know for a fact just what I just said, that there are 2 types of UFOs seen. Man-made ones, that is the bigger secret, by the way.
Yep.
The ET issue is not as big a secret as the man-made ones, for a reason I'll get into in a moment. And that this is not a national security threat. All the images that you have seen in the mainstream news of the Tic Tac, of these pyramids and triangles, those are ours. And they were filmed and known at some point they would release it to open the door to this subject. But there's more coming. You saw on the History Channel where the Italian helicopter that crash landed after it had some malfunction, that whole event, we know from Paula Harris, who was there and met with the man who's now the admiral who, when it is on that show, said that those were our human classified electromagnetic weapons that they were attempting to target UFO ET craft that were in the area at the time. She knows this for a fact and documented it. So almost everything you're seeing that's going out through the mainstream media right now is not only a lie, but a damn lie, which is exactly what Werner von Braun warned about would eventually happen when he told Carol Rosin that in 1974, and of course, which I learned about in the early 90s and have been warning people about since. Unfortunately, we're going to live through this period of this false launch of information. The only way we're going to correct it is for all of you to share this YouTube video with everyone.
All right. I want to hear what Red Panda has to say. What do you think about what Greer just said?
Man, I had always kind of thought Dr. Greer was more of just a grifter. He always just seemed like he was trying to finance his next movie sort of thing. But if this is a taste of things to come, and he's actually got cards up his sleeve that he's going to start throwing down, I mean, I'm more compelled to listen to what he has to say for sure. If he's really hanging it all out there like it looks like he is.
In that clip, he didn't say much, different than what he's been saying. So yeah, there's 2 lies, right?
Yeah,
2 lies. It's us, and it's what was the other one? It's us. Back engineering. What was the other one?
What was the other one?
See, I can't remember either.
It's working.
2.
Yeah.
What was that?
I said it's working. Their plan is working. They got us all confused.
That's right. I don't think that's the plan. I don't think Greer's involved with what's going on with.
No, I don't either. I'm just joking.
I know, but that's funny. It's funny if they did do that on purpose. That would really be messed up if that was the truth.
Yeah, like losing the other room, making a sandwich while Dr. Greer's got this live stream on.
Third phase, Blake. Pretty amazing, right? What he just said.
Yeah, today was an amazing day, like you said, and hearing them again and again naming these names. Nick Pope, he's calling out all of them, and I'm glad he's not calling out Third Phase Moon. That's kind of cool too, right? He could, we're the ones getting out the information. I guess he doesn't have a problem with our narrative, which is a good thing because I wouldn't want to be on his list of who he just called out. Let's just put it that way. So it's interesting that he's calling out these big names and he's not holding back. And it is, again, it's a relief. People said just earlier, one of your people on the panel right now said that, I think Red Panda, that, yeah, you're right, that sometimes he thinks that he's out there promoting his new movie or trying to make money to get his new movie going. But I have to say, when we did our documentary, that's kind of obviously still breaking the internet on Amazon Prime, it's doing really well, Countdown to Disclosure. He did it on the house. He said he did it. It was a big favor that he did for us, but, he wasn't in it. He just wanted to ask the questions, and we're so happy that he is able to work with us, but there was no exchange. It was just, he wanted the information out. And it was interesting with Countdown to Disclosure. We've been talking about on Third Phase Moon recently. I asked you guys to do an expose on how Fox is showing CGI videos in the background, claiming them to be true when in fact they're just phone app UFOs. Why not just show real UFO videos from the public? Why do you got to show fake application iPhone apps? Is bullshit. So I think everybody's getting fed up. Dr. Greer got fed up and he laid down the hammer today in his own way. And I was just happy that he reached out to us so we could share it on Third Phase of Moon. And now everything's kind of shooken up right now, but everybody's got to keep their eye on the ball. I was asked today about people asked me about UFOs, strangers. So what do you think these UFOs are? Yeah. They watched the 60 Minutes and everybody's like, it's a problem. Even Greer's concerned because now you have millions and millions of people believing these things are a threat and they're not even privy to, common knowledge of ufology. And we have to educate them. We're trying, but, there's a big gap out there as far as people aware of the other alternative of the threat. Where, in fact, in my opinion, I agree with Greer that, yeah, they could be a threat if used in a way. But, again, it's man-made. They're not alien in nature.
All right, I was going to play the next clip, but what I want to say when we come back from this clip is the 180 days will be the tell-all for everything that's been going on. So we have to wait a few more weeks to find out where this is going to end up. And then after that, I don't know what's going to happen. I didn't predict this. Who could have predicted this was going to happen today? All right, here's the next clip.
Hey, Red. Definitely the last thing I expected.
Right? I know it changes everything. Yeah.
Right after the 60 Minutes, I got a text from my mom. She basically was sending this long text, whatever story text, saying that you were right about UFOs.
Isn't that nice?
The 60-minute thing.
That's awesome, man. I know.
I mean, at least that is out. But, and I had to really, gently explain the whole narrative process, and she got she got kind of confused, and I had to really try to lay it out for her, as best as I can feel.
They confused us all. All right, I'm playing the next Greer clip, and 3, 2, go.
I think both Chris Mellon and Luis Elizondo regret what they've done. We also know that there are other people who are beginning to come forward with information which sounds unbelievable, such as Jacques Vallée disclosing that in the 1980s, he saw a document describing CIA-run alien hoax abductions in Brazil and Argentina. We are going to be releasing this soon, this information.
Alien hoaxed abductions, right? That's what he just said about Jacques Vallée. They're going to release that information in that documentary that he's putting out, I guess, Dr. Greer is. That's crazy. All right, I just wanted to say that. Sorry. I don't know where I was going. There we go.
There are a number of things that need to come out, and I'm making an appeal right now. Anyone who has information or has been on a tactical team engaging in these false flag operations from the 1950s until now, need to come forward and expose this as a hoax.
Wow.
The reason for that is that if we don't expose the trickery and the hoax, the thing that the American public and the world are going to be left with is this terrifying perspective of there being a threat from outer space, which will justify not only the expansion of weapons into space, but also the Space Force and this alien threat narrative that they've been working on for 70 years. Remember, Wesley Clark, four-star general Wesley Clark, as well as Werner von Braun and Carol Rosin have stated that they have seen documents that were very top secret that were listing all the nations that we would get into wars with, and that the big crescendo, the final card to be played, as Werner von Braun stated, would be the alien threat card.
Pretty amazing. There we go. And here we are. All right, I got everybody's name showing. Michael, what do you say, man? How you doing? What do you think about this?
It sounds like Greer is giving out a call to stand to those who have been coerced to spread this false information. He's offering in some way at least a push to clear the air in respect to what people have been touting. Now, again, I still think in my mind that, for this to really come to fruition, for people to even entertain this, the people he's talking about, they'd have to do it in tandem or together. They'd have to do it in a consecutive fashion wherein, they really blow the cover off the whole thing. Nobody's pointed at individually saying, okay, it was just you who lied, because, oh, you lied. Oh, you got, okay. And then again, pointing back to the source, it's going to bring up a lot more questions and allow us to possibly have an eye in to dig deeper into who it is exactly who's running this narrative and forcing it upon people. If it's not just one particular person, which I highly doubt it is, it's going to be a group of people, and perhaps some of the ones that we've already suspected. But again, we might find some more validation in, Dr. Greer's call out to these people. He's being nice right now, I suspect. I have a very odd feeling that he's being as gentle as he can with how frustrated he is. I have a very odd sense that he has something else up his sleeve if time goes by and things still don't change. But, that's just me, thinking on that one.
Let me tell you, what I see here is a circus. And I think if we got rid of the circus, the 180 days will come and go. And I think it's going to be the same with or without the circus. Clarence, what do you think about that?
Absolutely right, Rich. It's been this way for how long now?
Like right now, do we really think we're going to get the goods?
No.
Why? Why can't they now? I think people know about UFOs. Everybody
pretty
much
I said,
is in alignment.
This is just another Richard Doty 2.0. What Greer was talking about as far as those documents go and stuff that what's your name was looking at and whatever, you got to remember they did the same exact thing with Linda Moulton Howe when they sat her down and they gave her all these documents to read and everything, but they did it deliberately. They gave her a little bit of truth, but mostly lies. And when she went out with her documentary and it wound up being wrong, right, it made her look like an idiot. You know what I'm saying? And this is kind of the same thing that's happening here. So Greer's got to be careful also with this documentary, with these documents and stuff that he's talking about, because nobody truly knows if they are going to be real or not,
Red Panda, I wanted to ask you, with what Clarence said and I said and Michael just said and what you heard from Greer, do you think that after the 180 days is over, it's the end for Greer and Lou Elizondo because they're both not going to be proven right?
Oh, that's a good question. I suspect not. They've both been in this game so long. I'm sure they have a recovery plan for almost any scenario. So I'm sure they would both bounce back, full steam ahead to a new destination in the future.
What do you think has to happen for one of them to look credible? Like, what would have to happen for let me say it. What would have to happen for Lou Elizondo and those guys to be credible over Greer?
Oh,
not an easy
man,
question. No.
Yeah, that is a good question too.
Anybody want to answer that?
Yeah. Lou also, he's got he changed his whole perspective on this too. You know, he used to be so nonchalant and vague, and when he was on 60 Minutes, the next thing you know, he's like, "I'm just telling you that it's real." He's like getting frustrated with the host for not fully, believing what he's saying on the spot. You know, I could tell he was kind of getting angry about it. So I don't know, with this new like stern attitude about it, I don't know what he's gonna, how he's gonna push forward. It seems like he's trying to break out of being part of the DoD, got his own information and his own, vision, and he's moving forward with how he thinks it should be done.
Yeah, he was pretty vague though with Tucker also though, when he was talking to Tucker. He never really come right out and said anything.
He never
was
does.
pretty vague. Yeah.
He always is vague.
Yeah.
Always is. Now I forgot the question I was going to ask. Let's go to the next one. I have very short term. When I come back from this clip, third phase, and then we're going to go to Emmanuel. So here we go. In 3, 2, Greer.
We are there now in 2021, May of this year. By next month, who knows where this will have gone. We need to move very forward aggressively to get the truth out. So we are working so that in the next month, the Cosmic Hoax, this next documentary that all of you have helped fund, and I'm thanking you very much for that. We are already now in post-production on that. And I've seen a rough cut, the first 45 minutes. It's amazing. It's going to blow people's minds. It's going to be case closed. That film is not going to be proprietary. Every single one of you need to find influencers, celebrities, networks of people to take that film and post it on every site on the planet the instant, the day it's released. We are moving very fast with this. Now, the campaign for the fundraising of that, we reached our goal, but if we receive more contribution from the Director of National Intelligence, I have variably heard that it'll be out June 1st. That has been repeated to me. That's early. It's due by June 25th, but I've heard other rumblings from Senator Marco Rubio and others
on the
that it may be
180
delayed
days
because the Director of National Intelligence has been stonewalled by some of the three-letter agencies in getting to the bottom of it and providing a comprehensive report. So it's a big question mark whether we're going to be dealing with that report, which most likely will be half-truths, disinformation, spin, falsehoods, and confusion on June 1st or later in the summer. We need to be standing by and ready to move into action very quickly because, look, the entire mainstream media, the intelligence community, and the military-industrial complex is arrayed against the truth. Full stop, end of discussion. And so we, the people, are going to have to stand up and say, oh, wait a minute. This is not the truth. Here's what the actual truth is. We know that many of these are man-made. We know they have been done and used in false flag operations. And we also know that some are extraterrestrial, but they are not hostile.
Got it.
So I think that this is really what I said in 1992, 93 would become a sort of a struggle for the minds and hearts of humanity, the future of our planet, and the future of our place in the cosmos. And it's a choice. We're at a fork in the road as a civilization. We're either going to choose to go forward in peace on this planet and in space, or we will be facing quite literally an extinction level event if we stay on this path of violent engagement and the expansion of the war machine in the space and the place.
How does that ever end? Third phase. I don't think we're ever going to be out of war and hatred on this planet. And I guess what the aliens are saying is they don't want us to destroy the planet. Is that what he's kind of saying?
Well, after dealing with Greer for over 10 years, and I just got off with the text with him, just saying, hey, we shared your video, and he's appreciative that we're getting the word out.
Oh, cool.
And he's giving us kind of the amen kind of emoji on it as well, which is kind of cool. So Dr. Greer is appreciating the words getting out. And, I haven't heard over the 10 years listening to him speak. He's even in his last documentary, on our countdown to disclosure, I thought he was explosive then, but now he's ratcheting it up and it's going into another level. And obviously, because he just saw what happened on 60 Minutes, wasn't it interesting? Luis Elizondo's been on all the talk shows on YouTube, the smallest channels you could ever imagine. He's talking to anybody who will listen to him, which is kind of interesting. I have to give him that. He was talking to just about anybody. But, now that this is out, well, like I said, it was weird that Luis never told anybody he's going to be on 60 Minutes. It was all kind of like this of drop out of nowhere, where if I were to go on 60 Minutes, I guess if there's a non-disclosure and they interviewed us, which I think they should have interviewed Third Phase of the Moon, and we could share them, our opinion and our idea and our angle of the thought process on this narrative, which is the craziest reason why they don't bring it up. The fact is that why couldn't it be technology from a private corporation within our own borders? They don't even ask that question. So it's really interesting that they just go on with this one narrative and they're not even bringing up other possibilities of what this is. So I'm glad, Rich, you're kind of figuring it out, that these craft out there are ours. They're not interplanetary.
Yeah, transmedium.
Yeah, well, they might have that technology behind it, but they're not. But they're not alien in nature. We don't have little grays piloting these things. I would lay money on that. What's going on here is just private corporation, which is required. Hey, look, don't we want to get places fast around the world so we could go, hey, look, Michael, I'm going to see you in Boston and I'll be there in 2 minutes and I'll get on the Tic Tac, right? That's what we all want. Right. And that's why they built the Tic Tac. They built it for us. The problem is they got to figure out the technology, how to control it, so some wacko doesn't get in this Tic Tac and crash it into who knows what at 30,000 miles an hour. It doesn't even have to be that big. So it's the danger of the technology is there. The problem is, how do we harness it? How do we utilize it and not become a danger to anybody else when we utilize this technology, which, in my opinion, will be released. We'll be sitting and getting in these Tic Tacs in not to the distant future.
Listening to you say that, I was trying to think what the future would be like. Are we going to see disclosure within 5 years, you think, Emmanuel? Like full disclosure, maybe let me say this: technology disclosure, not alien disclosure. Do you think we're going to have some sort of technology disclosure?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What do you see? What do you think's going to happen?
Well, it has a lot to do with other things besides extraterrestrial and UFO, UAP, all that. I think it also has to do with what else is going on in the world with crypto, the money market. To me, it's all kind of connected, and not just that, but other things as well. And consciousness. I mean, I keep going back to that because it's just an innate feeling for me. I can't help myself, but
it's a huge thing right now. The consciousness movement. It's huge.
Have you heard of I'm sure you know it, the Fibonacci?
Yeah.
The spiral.
Yeah.
Well, I was watching a presentation about how the Fibonacci physical plane wants to keep going around and wrap itself around, but there's an esoteric and ascension part of it that'll keep rising, that is going to split, and there'll be a segment of society that keeps going with the Fibonacci and the other side that keeps going up. And that's kind of where my mind keeps going to with this, is you'll have a whole segment of our civilization that is going with this false narrative, buying into the war machine. And then you'll have the others that are ascending and becoming more close with this higher consciousness. I mean, may it be connection with their ET neighbor, relatives, who knows? So I just see and I feel the urgency that Dr. Greer is just trying to, get out there. That's not for his own gain. I definitely don't think that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think because we're getting close to the 180 days, and he doesn't want everybody to be misled by a false narrative. And you did mention the ascension and the esoteric and everything. Michael, do you sense this too? because you're into that more than everybody is, more than me. So are you sensing some sort of shift like that? And if you are, is it for a younger generation, or is it everybody can do this?
It's definitely for the all, whatever this shift is. And, I think it'd be interesting if we did see a divulgence of our high technology at some point within the very near future. It would probably be the biggest jump from one point to another, wherein the question between is, where did you get this technology? How did you develop it so quickly? So, I mean, you have to look at maybe why they're keeping this a secret. If it's not extraterrestrial in origin, what have they been doing underground for all these years, and what advancements have they, made in respect to a completely different paradigm wherein the people that are involved live in that one and we live in this one? Will there be emerging? Well, with the idea of this consciousness shift, of course, being all connected and so forth, going under this philosophy, we'll all be affected by this next movement of consciousness. And there might be some sort of merging, or there's going to be some sort of forcing that makes it a reality wherein we connect these two. But this is something so abstract for us to talk about, being still in this very polarized area of existence, if you will, that, we'll just have to see what happens. It's going to be a very tenuous undertaking to complete that shift, however it actually happens. But I do feel that we are all involved, and we are going to see things that would today blow our minds, and it's going to become commonplace tomorrow, even in the way of progressive events leading up to that particular paradigm that is more than likely either being welcomed or crafted by us collectively, consciously or unconsciously, in different ways.
I hope you're right. I hope you and Emmanuel are right. I have tried this, conscious thing, or whatever you're calling it. What is it? What, consciousness?
Consciousness, yeah. It's
Well,
what we do with terminology here in this field. Come on now.
I know. I meditate, and I do that kind of stuff. But I just, I don't know if I feel that we're going in that direction. I still think we're talking nuts and bolts. I think after the 180 days is over, somebody has got a lot of explaining to do. Let's get to the next one.
I have a tinfoil hat theory.
Oh, good. Red Panda. Yeah, what's up?
So
I was coming to
it's
you
kind
next
of
anyway.
kind of more like a tactical level perspective on this thing. With kind of like what's going on in the White House with all this, global warming and carbon footprint and getting off fossil fuels and stuff, I can kind of draw the connection between them knowing what this tic-tac technology is, and it just magically is surfacing 10 years before they're claiming to be completely off fossil fuels around the world. That affects every facet of business. Logistics is integral with everything that keeps our world afloat. So could that be the technology they're going to use to try to get off of fossil fuels?
Yeah, you would think that would be it. You would think. But I don't think the way things are going now, that's happening. But Jesus, let's hope that changes overnight too. I think we're just going to be back where we were before all this excitement in 30 days. We're going to be back to normal, business as usual. And then next, because this is what happens every 3 to 5 years. Something major happens and then it goes away.
Let me ask you this real quick, Rich, before we move on to the next clip. What happens if we find out definitively that they don't give us everything that they have by that time? Will there be some sort of legal recourse? And if there is, who's going to lead that?
From what I learned, this is supposed to be something that is a lawful order to disclose everything.
Right.
So if I'm wrong on that, somebody jump in and tell me, because from what I heard today and yesterday, that this is supposed to be a lawful order for our nation to disclose the secrets. Boy, if that happens, man, that's disclosure done, over with. Everything changes from there on out. And maybe that's why we removed the masks so everybody can see our smile. All right, let's get to the next one. All right, here we go. Next, Greer, we're almost done. Thanks, guys.
Of weapons in space, etc. As it is, there are already very destructive weapons on satellites and on the ground and on aircraft that target extraterrestrial vehicles when they come into 3D out of transdimensional space-time. And we also have events happening where these very advanced aircraft made by the Lockheed Skunk Works and other places are in fact being used in false flag operations. Many of you have asked me, when will the false flag event happen? You don't get it. It already has. It's been happening since the 50s. So many of the UFO events that have been portrayed as alien are not. Abductions, mutilations, some of the crash landings, like the Cash Landrum case, where those people were injured with radioactive waste being spewed on them, those were all man-made accidents. But they were portrayed as unknown UFO incidents, and the unknown translates into public awareness immediately to alien. So
wait a second. Come on. The Cash Landrum, they drove up to those UFOs or UFO that looked like an ice cream cone. And their car got hot and they wound up getting, some radiation poisoning. That's not an alien invasion, a false flag alien invasion. Am I hearing him wrong again? Isn't that what he said? That the false flag thing's already happening?
What he's saying, Rich, is I'm sorry to cut you off. I'll throw this out there real quick. What he's saying is that if we believe that it's aliens abducting us and experimenting on us, it's not true. It's actually been a false flag invasion that's been ongoing since the 50s here. So he's not just talking about one period in time here. He's talking about a large span of all these events culminating. I don't know. Maybe I'm misreading what you're saying.
Right.
Well, let me explain this real quick. When I talked to Greer about, I don't know, I think it's about 6 years ago, he came on the show and he started explaining his scenario of alien abductions, that there is no such thing as an alien abduction. Any of these grays that you're seeing are biologically made by humans to appear to be alien in nature. It was crazy.
What?
And seriously. And he's still on this narrative. He's 100%. He has not changed at all since he stated that. And it's interesting when I asked him. So I said, what you're saying, Doc. We got in an argument as we're on the show, and I'm like, no, you're wrong, Greer. Look, I've interviewed hundreds and I don't know, maybe thousands of people that have called into our show back when we're doing our show, radio show, their abduction experiences. You're saying all of them, all of them were abducted by a government operation? No way, Dr. Greer, are you right? You're discrediting everybody that had an authentic alien abduction experience, and now you're saying, nope, it's military. What they're experiencing are gray robots, biologically made by our government. It was bizarre and it's still, that's a little disappointing that he hasn't changed. So, Greer's not perfect on everything, especially with that narrative, in my opinion. That's a false narrative, and he should retract his statement and open up at least the possibility that there are aliens out there that are actually abducting people. Whether it's a hostile or not, that's maybe another debate. And I don't think it is a hostile thing. I don't think it is a threat. It's an invitation. It's the way I call it. So they're inviting you on board. It's not hostile by any means. It's not a threat. But so that's why he's coming up with this idea, because the abduction scenario seems that it is a threat. People are afraid of being abducted. So that is a threat. And he doesn't want to go along that storyline. So he came up with blame it on the military building these biological aliens that appear to be the Greys.
Oh, wow. That would be amazing if that's true. But man, I mean, yeah, because you would be discounting thousands and thousands of abductees who just have different accounts.
Real. I'll tell you
millions and millions of abductees.
Yeah,
4 million a year.
Wow.
Jesus. Unreal.
What's that closer in Clarence? What were you saying?
I said mine was real. I'll tell you that. There was nothing.
It wasn't a robot.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You
can't tell me that the government is chasing a 13-year-old kid in the middle of Florida. Okay, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, but you have special DNA that they saw. As soon as you hit puberty, that DNA is like active.
Hey, you never know.
They wanted what you've got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of those robots may be yours, mister.
Yeah, they may be.
See any bearded robots, floating around? All right, let's dig into this a little further. I think what's coming up here is what I've been waiting for. I think it gets crazy and crazy cool here at the end. All right, here we go. Come on, Greer. Giddy up.
Sitting CIA director, a sitting head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Tom Wilson, who's the meeting for which has been confirmed through the Dr. Davis leak that came out from the Edgar Mitchell archive. We have to understand that in each of those cases, those men were not allowed to be briefed on these unacknowledged special access projects, nor have most of the presidents, and nor have most senators. What does this mean? It means that whatever the director of national intelligence may have access to will have been pulled out of this black world and put on a platter and cherry picked, much like Dick Cheney and his minions cherry picked the intelligence that got us into the debacle known as the Iraq War. So, and by the way, Secretary of State and former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Colin Powell, his chief of staff admitted on camera that they were deceived with hoaxed and false information from the intelligence operation out of the West Wing run by Dick Cheney after 9/11 that got us into that disastrous war. And we're still in that debacle. So one of the things you have to understand is that someone like the director of national intelligence, those people come and go every few years. We cannot assume and should not assume that he has been read into or briefed into these unacknowledged special access projects where he would be able to discern what is true, what is false, what is fact, what is fiction. Now, that's even more true for the President of the United States, who has a lot of things on his plate, or a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee. So none of these people are specialists in this area. They're extremely vulnerable to the people who are the foxes guarding the hen house. And therefore, we can't ascribe a terrible motive necessarily to whoever creates this report, because they simply may be reporting, as required by law in this bill that was passed in December, what they have been spoon-fed. Because the big mistake everyone makes is they think, wow, you're the director of national intelligence, you're the president, you're the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency or the CIA. There's this assumption that you have an all-access pass. That is absolutely not true, and I can prove in a court of law that it's not true. So for that reason, we have to be careful in how we evaluate this. And I think that now this is different from people like Luis Elizondo, who has now admitted to the Disclosure Project lawyer Daniel Sheehan that he was not telling the public the truth, that there was a threat from the aliens or the UFOs. Now, if he were to say there's a threat to the national security from the unacknowledged special access projects that have these very advanced technologies, that would be true. That's not what he's saying. So he needs to correct his statement, or we will continue to expose this lie.
Oh, let me replay that one time real quick, because that was interesting. That makes more sense now. Let's see.
Have been spoon-fed, because the big mistake everyone makes is they think, wow, you're the director of national intelligence, you're the president, you're the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency or the CIA. There's this assumption that you have an all-access pass. That is absolutely not true, and I can prove in a court of law that it's not true.
Here it comes.
So for that reason, we have to be careful in how we evaluate this. And I think that now this is different from people like Luis Elizondo, who has now admitted to the Disclosure Project lawyer Daniel Sheehan that he was not telling the public the truth, that there was a threat from the aliens or the UFOs. Now, if he were to say there's a threat to the national security from the unacknowledged special access projects that have these very advanced technologies, that would be true.
Okay.
But isn't that what he said?
What is Lou saying, really? He's saying that they're a threat, but he's not saying how they're a threat or from where, right?
The whole point is, the whole point, like Dr. Greer is stating, and we've been trying to open people's minds up to this, and people just don't open their minds up enough, it seems. Get it through your skulls, everybody. There's a private corporation that's using this technology, and that is the threat. If they want to be a threat, well, there it is. It's man-made. It's not the aliens involvement, the alien involvement, the extraterrestrial involvement. It's a private corporation.
What is Lou saying, though?
Lou doesn't even want to bring up the private corporation theory. He's blaming it on China, Russia, or something unexplained when they know exactly where it's like what we put in Countdown to Disclosure. It's made over there in Palmdale, Plant 42, Lockheed Skunk Works. Ben Rich, the head of Skunk Works, said we have things that will make Star Wars look silly in comparison. We could take E.T. back home. We have the signed document given to Jim Goodall, and we showcase this. So if you want to like point the finger to who's behind this, we explain it to you loud and clear in Countdown to Disclosure, the documentary. And I guess we're in competition now in a way, but competition is good in getting the word out. It seems like Dr. Greer is working on a sequel or a follow-up to Countdown to Disclosure. We're working on our sequel, and we've got somebody lined up that has 32 patents in the rocket industry. He might be taken on board. He's getting tapped to maybe be the head of the Dubai Space Force program, and he's allowing us access into his what you would call the Alexandria Library of information that hasn't been seen by anybody. He's worried that this information is not getting out. We've been in discussions, and we already have one interview under the belt. We're going to now continue to dive into the Alexandria Library of information that is beyond. He was telling us some of this stuff, and it's mind blowing. And there's so many implications of suppressed evidence that Rich, we'll talk about it afterwards. But you'd be yourself be interested in some of these programs that were shut down because of the space NASA's space shuttle program. It's a whole the aspect is just crazy, but it's all happening, and I think there's something we're going to see something in this Countdown to Disclosure. I believe we're going to get some clear photographs or clear videos of this Tic Tac within 50 feet of the pilots, and once we see that, I believe we're going to see that in the next month. We're going to see something pretty cool. But again, you got to not think it's alien in nature. Let's just put it that way.
So that's really important. Wait a second, Clarence. This is unbelievable to me. It's okay. So the threat is us?
I mean, that makes sense.
What the threat is us? I don't understand. If it's
not
alien,
the threat. It's a perceived threat because you have this private corporation that could outmaneuver anything that is involved with our military. But here's a question I wanted to ask you. I'm going to ask everybody. Propulsion, military goals. So if you have an aircraft, what is your main goal in propulsion? Rich?
To go as fast as possible without feeling the inertia.
You want to go as fast as possible. Speed. It's all about speed. What we've been hearing from our source that we're going to be interviewing, we're 100 years behind in regards to what we know of what we have. So if you could imagine 100 years from now when we are 100 years, well, we're already there. So that's a fact. Obviously, it's because of national security. But yes, it's ours, Rich. It's ours. But again, they're not threatening anything. They're just playing around. They're just playing. They're not. No, nobody's getting hurt here. They're just, in and out. And it's black. Go ahead.
What's the point?
Wait, can I throw one thing in there?
Tactical.
Can I say something?
I have something to say too.
I'm sorry, Blake. I thought I was just jumping in. Go ahead, Clarence. Yeah, of course.
Well, I'm just going to say, first of all, we already broke the Mach 10 record. It just happened here not too long ago. I think I showed you that video clip. And on top of that, we already got things that have been in space that do Mach 22 that we designed. Okay? A lot of people don't know about this, but it's an actual deal.
From 0 to Mach 22 in 1/10 of a second, though?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, come on. What is that called?
it reaches that speed. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
yeah. Well, if it's what is that one thing that bounces light off of itself? I mean, that takes like 6 months to get to some crazy speeds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, the light sail, proton or photon thing, whatever it's called. Michael, and
ion
Emmanuel,
propulsion.
Ion propulsion. Thank
Right.
you. Who said that? Who said that?
That was Blake, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
All
I have
right,
one thing to say about the private corporation.
Yes,
aspect.
Red Panda.
I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. The private corporation is the one that has all the secrets. So the president can wander into whatever room he wants in the White House and claim that there's no UFO evidence because it was never there in the first place. It's in, somebody's filing cabinet at Boeing or wherever the contract is. That's why the president can't get access to it, and they trickle in, whatever they allow that president to see. I mean, that's what I would do. That's what it seems like they're doing.
Yeah, I guess.
Probably
Exactly, Red Panda. Go ahead, Dark Hour. Go.
I was going to say, that's exactly what I was saying in so many words back when this bill was first introduced. I always thought that if they are going to give us anything, it's going to come from whatever we see on our superficial governments, which doesn't really have all that much. All that secrecy is stored within those privatized businesses, such as Bigelow and so forth, wherein, again, as you say, Blake, they have no responsibility to report that. So in essence, if that is the case and the government gives us whatever they have in their shelves, they could actually wipe their hands clean and say, yep, that's all we have. Then they're not actually lying. They're just not saying, but those guys over there have a whole lot more. You know what I mean?
There is one thing I want people to notice, though. We, and I say we as in the United States of America, are the only ones talking about this at this present time. You don't see China, Japan, Russia, Germany, or anybody else talking about it. We are the only ones.
Right, and they say it's a threat, but there's no sense of urgency. If it's such a threat, nobody's really got any pep in their step about it.
Yeah, it's only been 17 years.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot longer than that.
Well, I know, but yeah, right. I mean, since the Tic Tac was invented.
Hey, Rich.
Yes.
If you were a businessman and you were in charge of this private corporation with this technology that was 100 years in advance of where are right now, how would you disclose it? How would you release the technology and profit on it? You're not going to give it all at once. What are you going to do, a lump sum? I don't think America or any world government could even pay for this technology all at once because it's so advanced. It'd be, I don't know, maybe what is the world's budget? 42 trillion, something like this? $230 trillion. 230 trillion, somewhere around there. But if you're going to drop this to make money on it, you're not going to give it all at once. You're just going to give a little at a time, like Red Panda was saying. And they're going to make their trillions every year. They're fine with that. And they're going to give us a little at a time. The problem is we're not going to get it anytime soon, unfortunately, unless the demand is there. And again, we're going to have to be able to harness this power in a way that is safe for everybody. So there would have to be this master controller of the thing.
Yeah. The one thing
it's 269 trillion budget. But
the one thing that comes to my mind is the memory metal. They just did a big documentary about it.
True.
Mm-hmm. That's how they bring it out.
Yep. Maybe.
Well, like you're saying, little by little. And why wouldn't they do that? Look at cell phones.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're not talking about high technology and cell phones, although the way they roll these out, these little incremental additions they add on, they're just pulling as much money out of it as they can. If they were to continue using the same model, that would probably be the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But Blake brought in a really good point about that what the economy would be able to hold in respect to the dissemination of this technology to the public.
So what is that?
The incremental.
Oh, go ahead. No, you first.
I said that the incremental nature also would make sense for collecting information on people as well. Like you said, with one big update, that changes all the terms of service. People tend to notice that, but change a sentence on this update, a sentence on that update, and before you know, you have an entirely different document you're blindly accepting.
Right.
but we accept it.
No, yeah, I can honestly say I've never read one. I mean,
No. And if you look at cars too, phones, cars, with cars now they have the navigation, and detection, what's on the side, they can automatically drive themselves and so on. That didn't just come out all at once in 1999.
No.
It's just little by little, one thing here, we get used to it. Another thing comes out, we get used to it. Another thing comes out. It's constantly upgrading our phones, our technology. My drone gets updates, better camera now. I can do Zoom before I couldn't do Zoom. It's crazy. All right. We still have more to do. Yeah, it's amazing how they do it. Drip, drip technology disclosure. Here we go. Greer, we're almost done. Yeah, gush.
Defense. People take them to know what they're talking about. So if they don't know what they're talking about, they need to learn.
I went too far.
Very dangerous. Because people think because of his credentials, and the same is true of Chris Mellon, as someone who is an official who's been in the Pentagon and the Department of Defense, people take them to know what they're talking about. So if they don't know what they're talking about, they need to learn what this subject is really about, and until then, be quiet. If they are going to continue to tell lies knowingly, the way that both Chris Mellon and Luis Elizondo have done, and we can expect more people in their wake to come out telling these sort of lies. We need to call them out on it, and we need to do it very clearly.
But didn't somebody give these guys the narrative? So they're just doing what they're told, right?
Exactly.
Puppets.
Yep.
Okay, so they're just doing what they're told. So why does Greer feel that it's not the right narrative? Because of his beliefs, obviously, but whoever's giving them this narrative needs to be talked to. Lou, if somebody offered you money or a career or some sort of advancement for your life, and all you have to do is say this and that and the other thing, you might say this, that, and the other thing if it was a good deal, without thinking it's going to come back to bite you, not knowing Greer's hiding out, just waiting for the right time to, like a mongoose versus the snake there or whatever it is. It's crazy. Anybody want to add to that? That is Greer going after the wrong people?
Well, he's saying exactly what people like Nick Pope have done for years. Same kind of thing.
What do you mean?
Well, Nick Pope has never, ever come out and said that he believed in aliens or UFOs in a roundabout way. He's always in the background. He always talks about them, but he's never come out and said he ever believed in them.
Right, but nobody's telling him what to say. That's what I'm saying. Is Greer going after the wrong person? Shouldn't he find out who's really behind the narrative that's being put out there? Because for Lou and all these people to get on mainstream media, 60 Minutes and all the other places, that just doesn't come by them reaching out, or does it? Blake, Brent, do you think that all they have to do is just reach out, or is somebody helping them?
Well, look at how it really goes down in the major media. Mm-hmm. We've tried to reach out to the major media. We've wanted to share the information with them. But who do they keep talking to over and over? It's the same people. Obviously, it's a bigger picture. The major media is being run by somebody at the top, and they're saying, spin it like this. So when you go to every single network, they're spinning it the exact same way versus asking different questions. Why are they all ask the same questions over and over? Why are we getting the same answers over and over again? Why are we only getting a handful of opinions, or these so-called whistleblowers, insiders releasing these military videos that really don't bring much to the table? And again, people, when they watch the 60 Minutes interview, they're going to be over and over, oh, they're so blurry, that these pictures are so grainy, and they're going to walk away like how they walk away with every other UFO video, disappointed, even though the narrative is powerful behind it and the pilot's testimony was great. But overall, they're not sharing the evidence as it should be, the broken record. So yes, everything it's only a handful of people that are involved. They're not going to bring anybody from the outside into it. They already have their set circle. So these mouthpieces are basically that, just mouthpieces.
Mirage Man.
And, you know, that's it.
But will we see Dr. Greer on 60 Minutes? Hell no.
You know, why didn't they bring him on board? Usually 60 Minutes, they cover a story, and then the last 10% of the story, they skew it. That's how 60 Minutes has been operating for 30 years. So there's nothing new there. But usually they do get another rebuttal or another side of the story, and you would have thought they would have done it in this case.
Maybe they will.
At least to have... He would have been great. Why not have Dr. Greer on 60 Minutes? He would have been right up there. If not, I think a better mouthpiece than Elizondo, big time.
Can you imagine the discussion if they did that? Oh my God, that'd be a great
really,
debate.
right? Come on.
It's the best debate we've ever seen. It would be
taking on a global elite, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Rockefellers, you know?
All right, let's listen to Greer, and then I think we're beating a dead horse, so let's just do one more clip, and we'll end it there with this topic for a minute. Here we go.
Because there's too much at stake. People are actually believing what they're saying. They think that they're doing this sincerely, and we now know for a fact that it is a big deception. And it is a dangerous deception because in the process of this deceptive misinformation, disinformation campaign, it is opening the door to this alien threat narrative, but also hiding the fact that the technologies that have been reverse engineered from studying extraterrestrial vehicles that have been operational since the 50s could then be used in a false flag operation in the future, and everyone is going to be convinced, oh well, we've had these officials tell us we don't have anything like this. This is why they're feeding these talking points to people like Senator Marco Rubio and others who do not know what the truth is about this, but the talking points have within them this very central lie. It is very important that you understand that the reason they keep saying we don't have anything that can move like that Tic Tac or move like those pyramid or triangular object over the destroyer, the reason they're saying that, even though it's an absolute provable lie, is because it preserves the element of surprise. It preserves the element of surprise of a false flag operation where those same technologies that are man-made and controlled by covert programs can be used in some kind of scary scenario. You can imagine what those might be and make it look like it's the aliens did it, blame it on the aliens. So this has been going on already, as I said, for over 60 years, since the 50s. Now, will they step up that game? That's up to us. I think if we can expose this central lie, we can prevent this disaster. But that's not going to be done by CNN and CBS News and 60 Minutes. It's going to be done by us. And you guys, all of us together, have to join hands and, expose what the truth is, expose what the lies are, and then through the CE5 initiative, continue to make peaceful contact with these civilizations. Because ultimately, if enough people do that and have that knowledge and experience, then the media and the intelligence community will simply not be able to convince the public. But that's why it's so important that we step up that initiative. CE5 contact is so important to resolving this problem in a positive way. In the meanwhile, we're putting out this particular forest fire of disinformation that's been set by the likes of Luis Elizondo and Leslie Kean and others. Now, one of the problems is we don't have the control over the mainstream media, as you've seen and unacknowledged. Daniel Sheehan testified that he saw a document during Watergate, the Pentagon Papers, when he was representing the New York Times. Way back then, you were talking almost 50 years ago now, that there were 42 people on the payroll of the CIA who were senior editors and national security editors and the like on the world's media. Now, we know that Richard Doty, who is a master of disinformation himself, admitted that he carried, quote, bags of cash to the media. We have many people who have been covertly.
Boo, Doty.
That they've been involved in those sort of media corruption schemes. So
Dirty
we cannot
Doty.
count on the fourth estate, the free press, to expose the truth, because frankly, they are not free. And they are fed this information through clandestine contacts in their editorial boards and their national security desk. And that is how the system is gamed. So that means we have to go alternative. We have to go through the internet. We have to go through influencers. We have to do it through grassroots.
Right here.
And that's why this documentary coming out, The Cosmic Hoax, which I hope will be out within the next month, about the next 30 days or less. That whole documentary needs to be seen by 1 to 2 billion people over the summer. Jeez. I think it's the only way we're going to get the alternative, actual, true disclosure out, as opposed to the false disclosure, which of course we warned about for now almost 25 years. Now, the way we can do that is all of us figuring out, who do we know? Who do we know who knows someone that may be an influencer, may have a large platform?
All right. He's just saying, come on, at the end there, let's get the voice out and the movie he put out. So, he's pretty much just repeating the same thing a little differently, but I can't wait for his documentary. So, question, I'm going to go around the horn. I'm going to start with Emmanuel. Emmanuel, will the 180 days give us anything important that we never seen before?
Probably.
And what do you think that might be? A picture, a video, another witness, some
probably
whistleblower?
Another witness, maybe another witness, possibly some pictures, or a video would be incredible. But yeah, I think something is going to happen that we're not expecting. At least that's my hope. Preparing for the worst, hoping for the best.
That's a good way to put it, I guess. Red Panda, same thing. 180 days, something new, nothing. We're going to be seeing redacted information. Anything world changing? What do you think?
That's a good question.
Of course.
I would hope so. I mean, they're hyping it up, saying that there's more videos and they have more stuff on the deck that's, going to be coming out in the near future. If they deviate away from that, I think they're going to lose a lot of the credibility of, making this stick as a legitimate, primetime newsworthy situation.
Okay. And Close Encounter, just to add on that too, I want to say something. That's the deadline. They could have been disclosing this stuff all right now, today, tomorrow, exactly. Last week. Why hasn't anything been brought up, I wonder? Nothing new. So that's the end of the 180 days. That's it. It's over. I don't think we're going to get anything else. Do you?
Nope.
Closer? Whatever. I forgot your name. Clarence?
Right. Hey, that's okay. It's all right.
It's just Closer Encounters. Yeah, and I think.
Oh, that's funny. I do have to laugh, though. They did mention Richard Doty. That's really ironic.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. But no, I definitely agree with you, Rich. Well, between us, I mean, come on. We've been in this business for how long? A lot of years. And we know most everything that we know, and we've seen a lot. And I don't think they're going to bring anything new to us anyway to the table, for us. There's not going to be any wow or shock factor there.
Not for us, but maybe for the general population, you're saying?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael, you're shaking your head yes with that. You think that it's just going to be something new for the general population, or do you think there might be something snuck in through the back door for us to see by the deadline?
While there are many layers to this, I do believe most of this will be more awe-inspiring for the general public who doesn't necessarily follow these fields so closely. For us, I don't think we're going to get anything more in the way of what we would like to see. It's easy enough, again, for them to give us the most superficial things they have. Here's some videos, here's some documents, this is what we've got, and have at it. In respect to, the last day of 180 days here, this countdown we're into being the deadline, I've seen them, as all of us have, releasing this information, giving us bits and pieces. I think that's the disclosure. Everybody's kind of looking, for some reason, everyone's really putting some weight towards that last day, as if we're coming up to a finale, like we're watching fireworks. Although we are seeing some sparks out here in the field, I don't think that that's where we're leading. The wick is long, it was lit, and once it goes out, it goes out. But, again, you bring up the question, Rich, what happens after those 180 days? The world doesn't stop. You know what I mean? Our research doesn't stop. These, people that are out there doing this, it absolutely does not stop until we have answers, and actually, as a consequence, probably go through some sort of paradigm shift wherein our mentalities are much different. So, until we get to that point where we are actually holding something very tangible for us in the field, we're still going to be searching, remembering this time and the implications that it involves. I mean, who knows? Maybe this is the first leg of something else they're going to disclose later, which doesn't have anything to do with this. Maybe it'll be medical research that they come out with. Again, preparing us again in the way that Emmanuel even thought, with the consciousness and how I've mentioned the shift that we're going. Maybe they are part of it. Maybe we're not against them in certain ways, or we don't get as close, but maybe they are sort of working for, I doubt it, but maybe they are working for the whole in some respect. I doubt it. I doubt it, but that's
Can I add
what I'm
one thing in
thinking.
there?
Yeah, closer. Who said that?
I was just
Red Panda. Red Panda, then
yeah,
closer.
go ahead. Let him go.
Okay. So maybe just throw this out there. As far as something that will be disclosed by this deadline, do we think that maybe they would possibly give out more information about Roswell or one of the other big name UFO sightings, like validate its existence a little bit more as a way to give something to the general population that also, appeases the, people like us that have been researching this stuff for a long time, kind of, appease all the masses and try not to make anybody mad?
But why wait? It's not like the last day they're going to have an announcement. All right, this is the end. We've got a few files here we want to give to you. We didn't want to do it 6 weeks ago. We're going to do it today. It's not like that,
maybe
man.
they do, though. Maybe they do. Maybe because people wait for, the premiere of the new Marvel movie. It's advertised 6 months in advance, and there's a build up to the release date. Maybe they're banking on that June 25th day is the day that everyone's going to be paying the most attention.
I know, but this isn't a TV show. This is real life, and I like to think, because it's a legal issue, they, by law, are supposed to be disclosing this information. It's not just, for the hell of it, at the last minute, we'll just throw it out there. But maybe you're
Another
right.
way to look at it.
But I see your way too, and I like it better, but I don't think that's going to happen. Huh?
I have a different way too.
Okay.
Maybe they're waiting for all the intel to come in, because that report's going to have a classified annex. Maybe they want to have the most amount put in the classified annex that they can, so they have the most time to curate it.
Yeah, but they've had 5.5 months. They've had years. I mean, what's there to do, man?
I'm trying, Rich. I'm trying in here, man.
You're doing great, though. No, I'm not frustrated with that. I'm just frustrated because I want to see something, man. I don't want to see grainy FLIR footage.
Yeah, exactly. From somebody's iPhone. At least get an iPhone 12. Stop recording it with an iPhone 7.
Yeah, exactly. Or 6. They get
right.
Yeah, 6 Plus. Third phase of moon. I appreciate you guys coming in here tonight. I know how busy you are. So just, on the same thing I asked everybody else, should we expect anything between now and the end of 180 days, or is it just business as usual?
Well, I could say buckle the heck up. But I could also say this. Are they going to show us aliens walking on the Senate floor? No, absolutely not. Are they going to reveal and open the doors at Hangar 51 and show the sports model? No, I don't think so. But we will. I think, get a little bit more testimony from pilots and some of these radar guys on the ground. We're going to get also some clear video and possibly crystal clear video. And I'm hoping for that. And if we don't get that crystal clear video of this Tic Tac, whatever it is, within 50 feet from the craft, let's set some good shots, because I believe they're out there. What these pilots watched and what they experienced is real. Whether they're extraterrestrial or not, in my opinion, they're, private corporation assets. But they're there, and they got great video of it. That's why it's such a concern now, I guess, in the Congress, the Senate. This deadline is only a deadline. Again, it's not going to end at the deadline, and that's a false anticipation too. And it's interesting, all this false narrative is being built up in the major media. It is a TV show, Rich, when it comes to the major consciousness of how the major media rolls across even America, across the world. So there is a TV show being directed behind the scenes right now.
That's funny.
And we're kind of these guys in our realm that we are in between the realm of the media. And it's weird on how people find us in this alternative view. Like Countdown to Disclosure, our documentary is totally the alternative view of what you just saw in 60 Minutes. And what's amazing is that Amazon Prime is putting it on the most recommended newest rentals that you could get. So either they like the performance or they like the narrative of the film, maybe a little bit of both. Because most people wouldn't even hold that on a platform because it's against the narrative. So I don't know, Amazon is, the guy's super wealthy. He doesn't give a, you know what I mean? So at that point, he's going against the grain of the major media because he is his own conglomerate. So I'm hopeful that we could all find what we're looking for, but it's not going to be seen over here at the Senate. We're going to find it ourselves, and we're going to get down to it, and we will find out, and it's not going to be too much longer, but it's not going to come from our government officials. We're going to blow it wide open as a public citizen, as a public journalist. We don't have to reveal our sources, but we could give out information. And this is our amendment, or what is it? Our First Amendment. So this is one of the greatest things that we could use. It's a tool, and we're going to still use it as long as we can.
Closer Encounter. Looks like you want to say something again.
There is one thing that I do hope for, and I'm sorry, Rich.
I'm joking. You know that.
I'm just saying, my mind goes 100 mile an hour.
Yeah, good.
What I do hope for, though, is maybe we can latch onto a few things that might knock people like Corey Good out of the water and clean this mess up a little bit that we've been getting all these years with all this disinformation and BS that everybody spreads, You
don't think Corey Good is truthful? I don't get why. You don't think he's been to Mars and back 3-4 times? That guy's 80 years old inside. He's got blue chicken blood.
I had to unmute for that. Sorry.
That was funny, actually. Was that a toilet bowl? Sounded like a toilet bowl flushing. Well, we said a lot tonight, but I do want to ask another question before we go, because I want to know, did Greer do this too late? Is he too late? That is the narrative been out there too long that people are just going to think Greer's doing this just to be a jerk because he doesn't believe them, or, it's a weird time. What he did is unbelievable. It's the greatest thing I've seen in a long time. What do you guys think?
In a vulnerable spot.
But Michael, let me ask you: do you think he's gonna get these guys to change their mind and tell what he believes is the truth? Because Lou Elizondo apparently admitted to Sheehan, whatever his last name is, his lawyer, that he is lying about this being a threat. And if that's true, and Sheehan has been saying that, it's bizarre. I wish I could play the clip. We don't have time, but tomorrow we'll get what Sheehan says, Michael. So I don't know. Do you think Greer's going to have any influence on these people?
I don't think he'll single-handedly bring this to fruition. I think he's really calling all of us to sort of have a part in this, obviously in the dissemination of his video, but in other ways too. It would be a movement. It would be a movement that presses these people to come out with the truth and really expose themselves. And again, they would sort of have to be encircled and encompassed with, this sort of pressure wherein it sort of just naturally pops out, because if not, you're going to continue to be that black sheep right in the middle, whereas before you were safe under your narrative and now people know. So you might it's like if you ever told a lie and somebody confronted you about it, as a kid, stole a lollipop from the store, your mom, did you steal that from the store? It's the same idea here, So if you can catch what I'm throwing on that, I think, again, in the end, we're really just going to have to wait and see how much people take this in, take it seriously, and then look towards the media, the mainstream media, with a completely different eye and using what you like to always bring up, Rich, critical thinking. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. And people don't necessarily do that. Even Greer was mentioning that people are under the assumption that if you're some sort of political figure in a certain position, you just happen to know everything there is about UFOs and, the secrets behind them. It's just not the case. There are too many presumptions. There are too many assumptions on what's coming. It's more about the action now, what we can do, the voices that we all have. And again, it's about the collective in getting something like this to perhaps become a reality. It's tenuous. The whole thing is very tenuous, but at the same time, there is the possibility. We know strength in numbers. It's a simple concept that we could at least have some influence.
Emmanuel, do you think that's pretty well said? That do you think, or do you think Greer is going to make enough impact for these guys to feel nervous enough to tell the truth as he sees it?
Well, it would be nice if he had other people or other figures with him a while ago, like you said, maybe bringing this forward, not just him alone as this like figure, but have some people that are with him
That's true.
doing this. Just to sort of collaborate, just like we're doing here essentially, but on his level,
Oh yeah.
I think that would have been a wise thing to maybe.
So you don't think he'll have any influence on Lou Elizondo, Christopher Mellon, Fravor, Dietrich changing their mind and saying, "Oh yeah, we made a mistake. It's actually not threat of aliens, China or Russia. It's us." I don't know.
Can wish that somebody would have that kind of influence on those kind of people, but I mean, it all goes to unfortunately in this society, it all goes back to the funding and the money, who's getting paid by who and who's controlling what narrative. I mean, that's the bullshit of it all that just pisses me off and just drives, it's getting old. So, I mean, I think that when you see Dr. Greer coming, this urgency and it is something we all have to just really wrap our heads around and sort of bring, intelligently, not tongue-in-cheek, to your everyday neighbor, to your the lady walking the dog down the street, or the gas station. It's everybody's talking about it. So, but
okay. And Closer Encounters, do you think that Greer is going to make everybody confused by his by the speech that he gave out? This is really confusing if you don't know what's going on.
Right, exactly, and it will confuse a lot of people. Honestly, I think it will. But I like his message. But like Third Phase was saying earlier, we know how he thinks and what he believes in. So there's kind of a mixture there. But not everybody out there knows that part of him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping it works his way. I really do. I'll back him on that. As long as you don't bring the other part out,
He did bring up the CE5 element as well. And, a lot of people don't even know what those three things are. CE5, what is he talking about?
Right.
So bringing that element into this conversation kind of makes me feel like, well, maybe self-promoting,
a little bit.
It feels like it a little bit, but you can't blame him. He's going to get a huge audience out of this, and maybe 1 billion people will watch this over the summer. Who knows? But that's it, guys. There's nothing else we could say that we haven't touched on, unless anybody wants to add anything right now before I say goodbye. Get where we could find you guys and on YouTube. Anybody want to add anything?
Can I add one thing?
Of course.
So I think, whatever comes next is kind of really going to show the hand of the people that are in control of all this information as far as Dr. Greer is concerned. Yeah, because, go ahead.
You think we're going to see the people that are running the narrative come forward?
No, I mean their actions, reacting to Dr. Greer coming out and challenging, everybody.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, because he kind of put himself in a vulnerable position. They're spinning up this threat narrative so hard and have everybody wound so tight that, I'm sure it wouldn't be very hard for Lou Elizondo to get on a show and say, this guy's acting recklessly by diminishing the threat, so therefore he's a threat himself. If they decide to go that route, it may be harder to get people to see his message. Lou might drown it out with that kind of, response.
Unless Greer can get mainstream media play from this. I hope Tucker Carlson sees what he did and says, we need to get this guy on. This is unbelievable.
You would think he'd be chomping at the bit for it.
Right.
Send it to him. Let him see it.
There you go.
I will.
They already watched it on Third Phase of Moon. Fox seen it. They know what's going on.
They do.
Should have known.
Of course. The thing is, this will be a day long remembered, though. And it'll be interesting in the next few days to see what happens with, Luis, Nick, Sheehan, the other people he's calling out, and see if they respond. Because, if you're called out in a way that Dr. Greer has, as he has a big reach in social media, and, we get our criticism, but if it's a small guy, whatever, he could say whatever they want. But let's just say if somebody big like Greer was calling us out, we'd have to respond. We do in our ways. And I know Rich and Dark Hour, and I don't know, Close Encounters, I'm sure Emmanuel and Red Panda would help us out, get the word out in our rebuttal to a statement if somebody called us out.
Oh, yeah.
So these guys will be responsible if they have any kind of backbone to respond to Dr. Greer. And we'll see what happens in the next couple of days. And if they remain silent, then that shows a lot of the character on that, because it's not just anybody talking. It's Dr. Greer. And Dr. Greer, again, he's got a big following. And I think he might have felt emboldened with his answers to us on Countdown to Disclosure and the response to that. That's why he's working on this documentary right away, his emergency one, because, people are riled up about what he was saying. Whether you believe him or not, I believe his narrative is correct on this threat statement. He's been a proponent of it for a long time. He's kind of been championing the whole idea of this false narrative for a long time. And he might be a little frustrated that he wasn't called into 60 Minutes and he wasn't able to participate in regards to at least his opinion. I don't know. Maybe, again, it's a big TV show and only so many actors are available to this TV show. And I think they closed the casting on their talking heads, and we're going to keep getting the same narrative. But these guys got to come forward and at least respond to it of what Greer said. If not, that'd be disappointing. But it's fireworks time.
I think it would be smart if Tucker jumped on Greer, and then they have maybe a discussion head-to-head in the future, maybe right before the 180-day deadline. Oh, man, this is exciting right now. Everybody, Dark Hour, where can everybody find you here on YouTube? Because we're done with this segment. We're done for tonight. So I want everybody to tell the audience where we can find you, what you do.
You can find me over at Dark Hour Paranormal, the channel here on YouTube. Of course, I work with Third Phase of Moon as well as Rich does. You can also find me over on Third Phase UFO Report. We have a lot of great videos for those of you who are not familiar with that sister channel. Go and check it out. Lots of great stuff. Analysis for days. And you can find me on Black Lotus Productions on Sunday nights at 8 Eastern time, as well as peppered in with Wreaking Havoc, Long Island Bigfoot, you name it. We all stay a pretty close-knit community here, but that's where you can find me, guys. How about you, Emmanuel? Where can we find you?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of small peanuts, so not penis.
I wouldn't
peanuts.
tell everybody that. Yeah, I wouldn't tell everybody that. No, I'm just kidding.
Peanuts.
No meatballs. Do you have a channel? Or?
I have a YouTube channel, but it's not. I mean, I'm not promoting it or anything.
Okay. You just use it for YouTube.
Yeah. I have personal stuff on there, and I'm an artist, so I've been posting some of my artwork and stuff up there, and
is that your picture behind?
I do social media rounds, but nothing.
The picture behind you drew that? Then I'm assuming.
Oh yes, yeah, it's a oil painting. Yeah, it's
very cool.
A nebula. Thank you.
I was just gonna say, is that a nebula or something? Yeah, and then
it is. Yeah,
it's awesome, man.
Appreciate
All right,
that.
thanks.
Thank you very much.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you hanging out too. Thank you for doing such a good job. Yeah, that was awesome. Red Panda.
Michael, nice to meet you guys.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Nice to meet you as well, man.
Red Panda.
Oh, well, I've never done one of these before. I have got a YouTube channel that I have a YouTube channel that I use to, peruse YouTube, but I don't know if people are interested. Maybe I'll put some content up there. But other than that, that's me.
Well, thank you so much. You did fantastic. When you said that, to me, is everything sounding okay and all that? I didn't know, man. It seems like you've been doing this a while. So thank you for joining me and goof on everybody else. So thanks again, Red Panda. Closer Encounters.
Good environment.
Thank you. Clarence, what is up, my man? Where can we find you? Are you back?
I am coming back slowly but surely. Actually, I'm almost done. I know. I got my studio made right now. I'm getting it back together. But you can still find me on YouTube with Closer Encounters or Closer Encounters Radio on Facebook. And maybe going back to Blog Talk Radio, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, brother. Good. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining. I put for those of everybody knowing, I just put the link out. Whoever wanted to join tonight did. Of course, I did ask Michael and Third Phase if they would join. And of course, without Third Phase of Moon, this wouldn't have been possible tonight. Of course, Greer, but they put it on their channel. I saw it there and thought it was powerful that they should come on. And I was hoping they said yes, and they did. Blake and Brent Cousins from Third Phase of Moon. Where and do you got a video coming out later on, or is it done for the day?
I think we're done. I think we dropped it. That was pretty crazy. It was amazing. Dr. Greer reached out. Boom, boom. Now we're talking about this. And I'm so glad we had this discussion afterwards. Rich, thanks for inviting the whole panel on. Dark Hour. Emmanuel, I think you reached out to us. I like your artwork. Appreciate it. And Red Panda, appreciate you joining us. Closer Encounter. I like all you guys' opinions, and it was enlightening. And it was interesting for the bounce back of the response. And when this kind of stuff happens again, I like this forum that you're doing, Rich, so we could do these kind of aftermath kind of discussions. So it was a crazy day today, and definitely we have a lot on the table. I sent everybody on the panel some new information that we received out of Antarctica. So you guys are going to be working on some of that. We're going to be putting up an episode. We got some UFO videos, obviously. Check us out, Third Phase of Moon. Buckle up. Yeah. We'll see you next time.
and don't forget the new album is still out, Behind the Veil. So don't forget that. And also check out the documentary if you haven't. Countdown to Disclosure. Is it to Disclosure? The Secret Behind the Secret Space Force? Am I saying that right?
Come on, Rich. Come on. It's Countdown to Disclosure. The secret technology behind the Space Force. It's a tongue twister. I
love the title, though. Yeah, thank you for those. And it's still doing extremely well since its release. I think it was February 16th, if I'm right on that. Right?
It's crazy. It's still crushing it. Even after 2 months, we're having more people watch it now, even after the first crushing month. So, after the 60 minutes thing, there's people need to get a different point of view on things. And again, Countdown to Disclosure, the alternate, it tells it all. It tells you where the Tic Tac's coming from. It explains it straight up, and it's pretty heavy duty. And we're working on the sequel, and I don't know. It's going to be insane. It's going to be wild, and we got a lot of people on it. A lot of people in there.
It's going to be
it's none of the people that Dr. Greer mentioned, and I'm glad we didn't reach out to any of those guys. Obviously, it was a no-brainer.
That was good. This is a great time to be alive in ufology, isn't it? This is a lot of fun.
Oh God, yes. Oh yes.
So thanks everybody for hanging out. I am just going to give two words before I go. If you guys want to leave, you're more than welcome to stay. But whatever. Let me just say goodbye to everybody, and I'll catch up with you guys. So. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me. Appreciate it.
Likewise.
So, yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. So, we got through this, and I got to tell you, I'm still a little bit like my adrenaline is still going. I still feel the blood going. I still feel like I'm excited about what happened today. And you can see behind me the new Mirage Men. That is just a coincidence that title was put up way earlier today, like 7-8 hours ago. And then Greer drops this bombshell about how we're being lied to and how he's going to try to get Lou and the others to tell us the truth, that the threat isn't what they're saying it is. It's amazing that happened. And here we are. I mean, you want to talk about being in it? We're in it. This was history tonight, thanks to Greer being a fly in the ointment, as they say, really stirring stuff up. And it is really, it's such a historical time. I can't even, it's surreal right now for me. It really is. This is an amazing time to be watching ufology, not only because of what's been going on with Lou and the threat and all this media play, and it's been a real ride seeing these videos come out from Corbell, the pictures from Knapp, Mick West doing the debunks, and all the rest of us trying to figure out who's lying about what, when, and where. It is a time that we will never forget. So do not take this time for granted. This is probably as good as it gets. It doesn't get much better. The only thing that would be better than this is disclosure at a full level, alien disclosure, technology disclosure. We're going to other planets disclosure. So I hope you're along for the ride here on Goof On. I want to thank everybody in the chat room who was very, very active tonight. You guys were lighting it up, saying some really smart things. I appreciate that. I like the discussion happening like that in the chat. Had over 150 people join us live, so we had a good night. And I want to thank the moderators and super chatters for your time and your support, because without you guys, this would not be smooth and we wouldn't be here every night. So thank you for your efforts and your support. You can help as well on PayPal, Cash App, and become a patron just to help out. This is a full-time job now. Also, I want to thank newcomers and veterans for hanging out. Hey, man, you even stayed 2 minutes. That's good enough for me. I care about giving the show a chance because I believe we are the voice of the public now. As you can see, we're doing it and doing it loud, and people are watching. So thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well. I'm Rich Giordano. We'll be back tomorrow a little early, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're trying it out one more day. I haven't seen much of a difference, so tomorrow will probably be the last time we go early. And lastly, I want to say, if you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out for ufology. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. There we go.
terrified of your own shadow and terrified of dear Uncle Gustav. Yes, I am. Well, I'm not. I don't care if he does find me gone. But how? Frida, I beg you, think about what you're doing. Everyone says he's a wicked man. What about him? Who wants to be good if being good is singing hymns and praying all day long? He's doing what's best for us, I'm sure. It might be best for you. It's not for me. I'm going, and you might as well stop arguing about it. And I warn you, if you dare tell on me, Frida, you know I wouldn't do that. I'm just telling you. You know what will happen if you do. Stop it, you're hurting me not half as much as I will if you don't keep quiet.